I will call this meeting to order for June 25th at 9 a.m. 9:02 a.m. And will please rise. Ms. Pierce will guide us in the pledge and Mr. Lucky in the prayer.
Please bow your heads with me. Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you to Lord for this beautiful day you've given us. And I always thank you that we live in this beautiful county, Glades. Lord, every person here today represents that they care about the youth of Glades County. And I thank you for every person here. Lord, those of us up here on the board, we want to make the most prudent decisions. And we know your word says if anyone asks for wisdom, you would grant it. So let me put that forth that we want wisdom, every person here, to make the right decisions. And we pray for that in Jesus' name.
Amen. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning, everyone. It's nice to see a whole lot of people.
I will read the notice of meeting guidelines. Any person who desires to appeal any decision made by the school board with respect to any matter considered at the above notice meeting will need a record of the proceedings, and such purpose may be to ensure that a verbatim record of the proceedings is made. Such record includes the testimony and evidence upon which an appeal may be based. Prior to the school board voting, the public is at liberty to speak in regards to the particular item on the board. Comments not pertaining to items on the agenda will be heard under general public comments. Please limit public comments to 3 minutes. Item 2.0, do we have approval for the meetings from the board, from the minutes from school board regular meeting May 21st, 2026 at 5:30 p.m.?
I recommend that we accept them.
Second.
Motion has been seconded. Do we have any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Okay, item 3.1, we have the Florida Education Health Trust here this morning. Good morning, thank you for coming to Glades County, we welcome you.
Thank you.
I would, before Mr. Rouse begins, I would just like to say that Philippe is, if you sent that out, the materials to you earlier, and he will go over in much detail. I'm gonna ask that you do not question until the end of this presentation, because it's a lot of information, and this is more, we're gonna have more meetings about this. This is just the very beginning, just kind of an introductory, this is an informational item. One of the things that I just want to remind you, Mr. Rouse, you're probably going to recognize him. He's been a very good friend to Glades County for many years, and so I'm so excited. It's an honor to have him in our chambers today. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, you're up.
All right, very good. Well, good morning, board, superintendent. It's great to be here with you today. Before I forget, I need to always introduce the smartest one that is with me today, and that's Mr. Darren Bryant. He's the COO of Avail Analytics. They serve as our program management team for Fleet. And I'm gonna hand out a copy of this because if you're like me, I'm old fashioned and I like paper and I like to write my notes and my questions on what it is that's in front of me. So this is a duplicate of what you'll see on the screen here this morning. Absolutely. And then of course, one for the board, so she would like one to have it part of the record, right? Very good. So just by way of introduction real quick, I have had the pleasure of serving as a lifelong educator, as a former teacher, former assistant principal, served in Taylor, Columbia, and Suwannee County up in the northern part of the state. Had the privilege of being an elected superintendent for 2 terms in Suwannee County, up in Live Oak, and some of you all probably know where that is. And then I ended my career at Florida Department of Education as a chancellor of K-12. I got appointed that position after leaving office, and that was about a 6-month stay, and I realized that my heart and home in school districts. And so it's great to be here with you today, and you are exactly right, Board Member Levy. This is a beautiful part of the state. I saw more places than I'd love to ask it. I'll probably never have time in a lifetime to do. But, let's just get on to business. So it comes as no surprise that health insurance and health insurance trends and costs are a major driver in terms of what is concerning households around the country. This is a survey that is from the Kaiser Family Foundation that was done just in April of 2026, showing that 64% are somewhat worried or very worried about the overall cost of health insurance for themselves and their families. And again, I'm going to go very briefly, very quickly through this presentation intentionally. I'm not going to read everything to you. It's really where I want to land the plane here, about 15 to 20 minutes, is just to get into any Q&A dialogue in this introductory conversation with you all this morning that you may have. So the background of Fleet, Fleet was formerly F-SHIP. It was F-SHIP under FSB under the Ford School Board Insurance Trust, which, as you all know, is an arm of FSBA, right? And so 2009, Charlotte was Coast County. They had their local agreement where districts could sign up to join F-SHIP. And along the way, up until April 2025, there were 3 districts that ended up being a part of that program. And it moved under FADS for a very particular reason. Specifically because all 67 school districts are members of FADS. Not all 67 members are members of FSBA. And that's where FSBA is where F-SHIP lived. And there were about 13 districts that got their property and casualty insurance from FSBA. So by moving it to, F-SHIP to, and becoming Fleet under FADS, it gave access to all 67 school districts. The sole purpose of Fleet is really to look at health insurance particularly in a new way. It is an opportunity for districts to come together to enjoy a different level of economy of scale and buying power and a new level of transparency. Because as a service of FADS, we are not a vendor. We're not in here selling you something. This is a service of FADS, just like FSBA is a service of FSBA. And so the district is put back in control along with our industry-leading guidance inside of Fleet, with Avail Analytics being long, decades-long, deep in the insurance industry, serving as our industry experts. And I'll talk about this near the end. But nothing that we do operates on receiving any kind of commission or back and retention bonus from any kind of carrier, whether it's on a pharmacy program, stop loss contract, or on your carrier side. There's a flat PEPM per employee per member monthly that's established on the number of employees that you have on your insurance plan, and that rate is set by the member district superintendents or their designees that sit on the trust and set those fee structures. So that's just a quick snapshot of the background of Fleet. Fleet is a nonprofit trust. Really the goal is to provide long-term sustainable solutions and opportunities for school districts for savings. Year over year, you all know this as well as I do. We look at that cliff, right? Our plan year is coming to an end. The traditional legacy broker model is that your broker comes in, you have a great relationship with them in all likelihood. They come in, they start to talk to you about what the renewals are going to look like, what the increases may or may not look like, what type of plan design changes they may or may not recommend. All of that is good, but in our world, this becomes more of a long-term strategy, and we'll talk a little more about that strategy and what that looks like really in 3 different cells closer to the end of this introduction. So three ways under Florida statute that school districts are provided an opportunity to provide health insurance benefits to their employees. Number one is to be fully insured. That is, you have a carrier and a broker that bring you a fully insured product. They tell you this is the premium for the year. They take that premium, they divide it by 12 months, and your district pays a monthly premium for that entire risk transfer for everything that happens inside that program to that company and the carrier. Number two is becoming independently self-insured, where the district funds their own account. It's not premium anymore, but a funding amount is set, a projection is set, actuarial based, that says, hey, this is about what we expect our claims to be in our pharmacy, our doctors, hospitals, blah, blah, blah. And we're gonna put that money in our own account, and then we're gonna pay bills out of the account as those claims come in. That's being independently self-insured. Number three is to enter a risk management consortium. That is where Fleet is provided for its existence under Florida statute, which is 112.08. And in our world, you're self-insured inside a fleet with guardrails, with protections, with guidance, with a different set of data that you're gonna be, available to access to help you make good decisions about your plan and all of the guidance that you may need to manage your plan moving forward. And as I said, if your district at some point chooses to join Fleet, you are in effect joining a trust that you're already a member of through FADS. Fleet is a FADS program, and as I said, we are a service of FADS. This is never gonna be any kind of high pressure. That's the great thing about my job. I don't have to sell anything. I'm here to talk about service that exists under the Superintendent's Association, and if districts wanna be a part of it, they're welcome to. If not, no problem. This is a snapshot of our current district membership. Back in April 2025, we were at 3 districts. You'll see the original 3 there is Henry, Hardy, and DeSoto. And then since that time, over the last 12 months or so, we have built out with the additional members that you see there on the screen. We have a large district like Polk with about 14,500 employees. And we have districts like Glades that are on the smaller side, like Hamilton and Lafayette. And Union just joined recently. We were able to find them almost $500,000 in savings on their program. And then as of Tuesday night, Manatee made their final vote to come with their 7,000 employees or so in the fleet. So now we're a little over 64,000 strong, 23 districts, and growing by the month. It's always great to get out and be in districts like yours that I've always heard about. Know people from the district. I know I've met you before somewhere, I think at FSBA, right? And but to get into your home territory, to see where you all live and work and go to church, it's good to be here with you. But you can see we got a really large scattering of everybody across the state. This is just a little different look at it from a county by county map. And so, you know, where you see yourself there, not highlighted yet in kind of a teal blue, that would make me feel very good at some point to bring Glades into the Fleet family in this part of the state. So why Fleet? I'm not gonna read all this to you. You're gonna get a level of transparency that regardless of how good your relationship has been, you don't own all of your data. You don't get access to all of your granular data. And data, just like I see on your board here, we used to do the same thing. You put all your performance data up, right? Your data that tells you what you need to know about your schools, it's the pulse. It's what you choose as a district to make priorities in terms of making funding decisions for the classroom to increase student performance. In the same way, Fleet gets into the granular with you and your district to help you inform your plan to be able to provide the best possible outcomes for your employees and maximize return on investment for the cost that they're paying out of their payroll and you all are funding from a board contribution limit. Districts that are eligible, who's eligible to join, as I said before, this is a FADS program, all 67 are members of FADS, so theoretically, all districts are eligible to join if they so choose. Districts that are already self-insured can really find a pretty quick runway into Fleet being an active school district. Districts that are not fully self-insured, there's a pathway that we would work with you on to become fully self-insured inside of Fleet, again with those guardrails. And then simply put, I love working with school boards and district leadership teams that are wanting to do new and innovative things around this particular space. It's a high-cost area, right? We always talk about it as you guys go into your budget planning process, the trim process, and you begin looking at adopting your budget for next year. You won't hear your CFO probably talk about just salary or just benefits. They say, our salary and benefits cost this. That's because together they're the largest cost driver, right? With benefits being the second largest piece of that. So we're excited to work with districts that want to bring a level of engagement for better outcomes for their employees and get better use of those dollars they spend. So how to participate in Fleet? Very quickly, there's a participation agreement. And of course, I think I provided the trust document and the bylaws to you all of the trust itself. There's a one-page participation agreement that the board would act on the superintendent's recommendation. It would be signed by the superintendent and the board chair. The district must be or become self-insured along a pathway. We have districts that passed participation agreements last summer, June, July of 2025, that are still on that pathway from being not fully self-insured to being self-insured that will become active, for example, 1/1/27 at the end of this, at the end of this year. And so we work with districts to establish what that timeline looks like. It looks different for everybody else. Some districts want to do it very, very quickly. They pass 1 month and then 2 months later, they want to, they want to be active and running. But that pathway and that timeline looks completely up to the district as we can work with you on that. And then the district formally enters fleet on that agreed upon timeline. You say, I believe you're a 1/1 plan, you're here, your plan, your runs 1/1/12/31 each year. And so you could be a 1/1/27 group, a 1/1/28 group, but that participation agreement just gets us engaged with you all to begin moving down that pathway. After that active date is established, the superintendent or her designee becomes the voting member on the trust, along with the other 23 member districts. She can delegate that to somebody else, and the nice thing about it is that Glades gets 1 vote and Polk gets 1 vote, right? And so you have the same say-so at the table as the other superintendent that's a member of the trust. What we normally see on average, are savings for 7 to 12%. It ranges district to district for those districts moving from fully insured plans to self-insured plans. And then districts that are already self-insured, we usually see a 7 to 13% savings over a 1 to 3 year period. And the reason that says 1 to 3, it's not a cop-out to put 1 to 3, but everybody's in a different place contractually with certain contracts. When you're self-insured, you have an annual stop-loss contract. You may have a PPM for pharmacy contract, it's a 3-year contract that may be at the end of its 3rd year when you come to fleet or the very beginning. And so sometimes the ability to impact those savings are going to be depending on this contractual structures that exist. But we're easily seeing 7 to 13%. We may end up updating that slide, Darren, to be even a higher number based on what we're seeing recently on some of the PPM sites, I would think. So what can the district expect from fleet? We've got a large number of people behind the scenes that work day to day. We're going to actively work with the school districts and their teams about what it means to be actively self-insured inside of fleet. You're going to have industry-leading assistance with data analysis and application. Your data is not going to live with the carrier anymore. Your data is going to live with the carrier, but it's going to live inside of fleet. In the district-owned, fleet-owned data warehouse, we have an actuary bolted onto that data warehouse as well as a data analyst, so that any data that comes out of that warehouse for our member districts, it's not coming through the lens or through the view or the slant of any broker or carrier. It's coming straight to you right out of the data warehouse, complete with our assistance to that analysis. Wellness support to maximize health plan outcomes. There's a whole piece on that we can have a whole meeting about, so we'll wait and dive into that a little more another time. This next picture is really just a visual of what happens. The red line represents being fully insured as a district. The yellow line represents going self-insured and taking advantage of fleet buying power. And then our districts are entering into risk sharing together. Again, another conversation for another day. That green line represents a fully active participating in risk sharing with other districts in a stop loss level over time. Nobody can ever come in here, me or anybody else, and say, hey, healthcare costs are going to go down. It's just not, it wouldn't be ethical to say that, right? Is there a way to bend that curve to slow the rate at which they increase? Absolutely. Absolutely. We have the data to show that that's possible. Really three mechanisms that are part of the fleet program strategy. Care financing, that is, how are you paying for your claims? How are you paying for your pharmacy experience? Everything that goes into the cost of members utilizing and tapping into healthcare generates your care financing. Are you paying for that in a fully insured model, a level funded model, a self-insured model? That's really the care financing piece. Care delivery is, how are your employees accessing care? Are they accessing care in the manner which is the most affordable for them, but produces the highest level of positive outcomes for them? That's a huge part of the program. We have districts that are getting into the clinic world, opening up their own wellness centers for their employees and their programs. We had one in Suwannee, about 800 employees in Suwannee, a 500 plan. We opened up our own little office, staffed it. We run all of our pre-employment physicals through there. We go over workers' comp through there. And it's open for employees and their families. it has driven costs down substantially because the cost that we can provide that care for in-house, even the labs are done in-house, is substantially less than what you pay for in your plan when they're going out to private providers. And then volatility management, that really gets into the risk sharing piece in terms of how do we go year over year, how do we stabilize costs? How do we keep from avoiding those lightning strike years? You're gonna have bad years, but how do we set you up longer term so that when that lightning strike year comes and you've got several high cost things, how do you weather that? Instead of having to react to it after the fact, how do we plan over time for those bad years? Because everybody's gonna have them. Fleet dashboard, this is just a snapshot of what a CFO would get to show prior year-to-date funding versus costs, just as a snapshot. And then year-to-date funding costs, the center little RPM gauge there shows you that on that for this particular time period, they're running at about 81.6%. Think of that simply as 81.6% of every dollar collected to fund the program was being paid out for costs in claims of the program. And then that last month, current month funding versus cost, you see they had a month where they ran high, right? They ran 14.7 cents on the dollar more than they were taking in expenditure. But that bottom line, at the very bottom of the graph there, represents the bars that run vertically, represent the amount of money over the 60-day reserve, which is the dotted red line, that's in their savings. So even though they had that bad last month on the right, with the little red bars across the top, you can still see the district over time has got a healthy reserve there.
Give us that figure, we can't see it.
I'm sorry,
The bottom line figure right there.
right here?
Yes.
That's, for this particular district, this is actually a slide that says current 60 days claims, $1.24 million. And so the Office of Insurance Regulation requires the districts maintain or accumulate over time a 60-day reserve as a savings account in their plan. And so in this particular case, and I apologize, it did not print out well for you or show up on the screen any better. The entire amount in the program right now is $3.07 million for this particular time period. So you can see they've still got plenty of excess reserves in their account. Just an example to show you what that looks like. And then this slide here, this is a brand new, you can see it says June 2026. These are actual districts that are in fleet. They have been in long enough now for us to be able to generate and validate actual savings, because that's what we continue to be asked is hey, what are you seeing in other districts? This is what we're seeing in real numbers in other districts. And you say, well, there's a lot more members up there. We have 23 members, but that's not 23 districts. Some have not been in long enough for us to have enough data yet to be able to calculate the savings on it. As that data matures, that slide set will continue to grow. But again, you can see all kinds of size of districts up there, from DeSoto to Brevard, all the way down to Union on the very, very bottom. I wish we had time to tell the story about Union. That was a phenomenal story, maybe another time, but a huge win for the district and its employees. What makes Fleet unique, I'm going to not read these to you. The last bullet on there, Fleet's direct obligation. Fleet's direct obligation is a fiduciary obligation to the district to sit on your side of the table. Again, we have no stake in something going up because it doesn't bring revenue into Fleet when your premiums go up. We don't get additional money, right? And that's the traditional market works on a percentage basis, where a broker gets a percentage generally of what your overall costs are for your program. We're going to work with our districts to bring the best value for districts, and then it's always your decision as what you choose to do or not do. That's our role. That's our role. These are the four main components of Fleet. FAS is the sponsoring organization. I have the privilege of working for Senator Montford and for the board of Fleet, the superintendents that are members of the organization. Avail Analytics provides many of the things we talked about, checks and balances, make sure that we don't have people manipulating anything, conflicts of interest, stripping those out. Insurance is very complicated. I'm not an insurance guy. I've learned to love it over the years because I got, for whatever reason, sat on insurance benefits committees in all three districts that I work with. But they really work hard to make sure that everybody's playing by the rules in terms of vendors who are working inside of Fleet for the member districts. And then Alliant, they serve as our broker inside of Fleet. They are exclusive to Fleet. They do not work in any other school districts inside the state of Florida. If you want access to Alliant, you have to be a Fleet member. They're the 4th, 5th largest brokerage house in the world. They work off a flat PPM as well month to month. And then FSBIT. So well, how does FSBA and FSBIT still fit in? FSBIT is where all of the accounting takes place for our member districts. There's a complete CFO packet that gets produced at FSBIT. All the bills are paid. So just like you pay one check now, monthly to your program, fund your health insurance program, you pay one check to Fleet into your account at FSBIT. It says Fleet/Blaze, for example, and all your bills get paid out of that account, and everything gets handled in terms of all of the responsibilities for the filing of the 112 annually that has to happen with the state. So those are the 4 main buckets of Fleet in terms of the operational components and partners. I already emailed you this. I believe Superintendent Garfield emailed you just a snapshot of the scope of services. Again, we can dive into this more later. I'm trying to hurry. And good, the last slide, everybody's saying, thank goodness he gets to be quiet, he gets to sit down, and then we can take questions. So thank you very much for your time. Darren is here with me today. He is also a former educator. His wife's a former educator, but he went into the insurance world a few years ago, and he has a passion for bringing savings value to districts as well. So between the two of us, we can probably answer your questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry, very much for coming and presenting. And I know there's gonna be a ton of questions because this is a huge step for a district as small as Glades. Just right offhand, one of the questions I have is the fact that we are under the Financial Emergency Board. I know you did have success with Union County, and that's an amazing story. I don't know the whole story, but I know a little of what I've heard from the superintendent of Union. Is there anything that we have to do specifically because we are in the FEB, under FEB board?
So what would happen, Superintendent, to answer your question very briefly, is your board could, if you chose to pass a participation agreement, you would wait to sign that participation agreement until after the Financial Emergency Board approved your ability to do so. Just like they did Union, they approved that, and then we immediately went to work. And of course, in Union, you were on that as well. The capitalization fee gets you set up for rolling inside the Fleet, and that initial $10,000 fee, you built in $2,000 a month for 5 months to get them set up at the Fleet level across all 4 of those members. And so it's very, very doable if that's what the district decides to do. I know all of those folks on that Financial Emergency Board. Actually, the chair of that is my former CFO from Suwannee, Phoebe Prater. She's a fantastic CFO, and she understands what we're trying to do.
Do we have any questions for
That was a lot.
Ms. Pierce?
Okay. Schools which are able to enroll, public only, private, charter,
This is only open to members of FADS, so it's currently open to public K-12 space only.
is our charter school gonna be included in that?
I don't know the answer to that question, we can find out.
It's on the tribe, or on the reservation.
Okay.
Okay, and then I see in here, prior to being able to go into this with you, it said that the district had to be self-insured. Okay, how long of the time, how do we go about that, because that's not a good place for us to be.
Right. So as Union is the case, Union is voted and they're onboarding active in the Fleet. We went ahead and brought them a fully insured solution for this next year, because to your point, it wasn't a good time for them to go into that. We know that. They knew that. The Financial Emergency Board did that. And so we still engaged the horsepower of Fleet behind Alliant to bring them a solution set for a year. So we'll wait a year to come back and then reanalyze where they are financially and relook at what it would be and what it would look like potentially for them to go self-insured. But so to your point, we are able to engage with the district to bring a solution set that is not self-insured. You're not fully active in Fleet, until you're self-insured, but it doesn't mean we can't pour in fleet services to the district.
That transition time is how long usually?
The,
Once
well,
we get to the point that we can, the transition takes how long?
to the self-insured world,
No, to,
to us, okay.
from transition ourselves.
So theoretically, if you wanted to see something for this year, 1/1/27 with your new plan year, I would recommend at some point over the summer here that you all determine whether or not you want to act on a participation agreement. I would recommend no later than August. Is that fair? Yeah, start working. Participation agreement no later than August. That would also allow us to be able, with your superintendent support, to be able to talk to the financial emergency board to help them understand that we're gonna go through the same exercise with you all that we went with the union. We literally had 3 weeks with the union to get it done from the time they passed the participation agreement to the time they had to start their open enrollment.
Okay,
Fortunately, this will not be the case here because you're a 1/1 year, so there's still plenty of time to bring you a fully insured or some type of solution outside of being fully self-insured for this current next plan year that begins 1/1/27, looking forward with the goal of a 1/1/28, earliest possible date of being self-insured inside a fleet. And so there's a lot of time that we can utilize to make that happen.
okay. What about pharmaceutical, optical, dental?
Fleet is only on the medical side. Yeah.
Okay,
Fleet's only on the medical side. We work on simply the piece that's funded by the board, and that is the medical part. So, in many districts, they have kept their current broker, and they use their broker, what we call contract effectuation, which we can talk about more than that another time, but they continue to work on all the things non-medical. Those are all those things that your employees electively go into, those voluntary programs and benefits. In other cases, they say, hey, we want a fresh start, and we help them get that fresh start. We can bring somebody new to the district for you all to consider if you're unhappy where you are. I'm not saying you are, so we're very happy with where they are. So,
well, I'm looking at this in a good aspect, but I do wanna know contract. If we sign a contract and this doesn't work out for us, is there a fee for early?
there's actually no contract you're gonna sign with Fleet. And you say, well, how can that be? Fleet is a trust. It's just like joining FSBA as a district. Your district adopts the participation to be a part of that trust, but that is under a state organization, right, that is recognized statewide that represents all the school districts. And so we're not, matter of fact, if you were to issue an RFP for responses, we legally can't respond. We're a trust. We're not a vendor, so we couldn't respond like your traditional brokers and carriers to an RFP. So you simply join the trust and you acknowledge and you accept the bylaws and the trust as I emailed to you all, to Dr. Barfield to send to you all. And if you decide to walk away after 6 months, you walk away after 6 months. There's no harm, no foul. There's nobody at the Superintendent's Association, including Senator Montford, that's gonna say, you can't go, we're not gonna let you go. If you don't like the service, you simply walk away.
Is it good fee?
Yes.
Okay, then, that's pretty much my question. Thank you.
I know there'll be a lot of questions and a lot of conversations. We have an insurance committee that will also get involved. But I wanted to go ahead and bring them forward because I did see the work that they did in Union County. And I know that we are up for, Dr. Malay, when are we up for?
Like you said, plan year starts January 1st, so we were planning with our current carrier to look at prices and things after school starts. So he mentioned in August, that's kind of when remember when she came and they did the cost for last year, we set, the trend's not just 1 year, but that's all we had. So, we'll look at that balance, how it's working out, and then they'll quote something, but then, like you said, we'll have to do a comparison. So we can do an RFP out to get numbers from everyone, and then we could compare that against what we could obtain through them.
Yeah, in the past, whenever we had good quotes, we tried to do like 2-year contracts, or even 3.
You're currently under a 2-year contract, and it, honestly, I mean, in full fairness, it's went pretty well. The district, we're poised this coming year, this current year now, we're trying to alert employees of how if they go to specific places for like an MRI, things like that we can really reduce our costs. But those would be some of the same types of things we can also do with this carrier. So it's it's a little different, but it's kind of apples to apples on some things. I mean, we just have to make sure we compare that, what the level of services we're getting to this, and at the end of the day, the cost factor, we have service to our employees, but there's a cost factor, so.
Well, Cigna, from my own personal use, has been much better than Florida Blue.
Yeah.
They pay for services that Florida Blue does not.
Like the superintendent said, I see us having to, as we enter that, getting a little more information and then maybe possibly coming back to look at some of these, and, it's gonna be open record, as we get some of these things, and we just make the best decision for the district financially and for service.
Thank you.
Can I have one last
Absolutely.
30 seconds? I wanna make it clear, Fleet is not a carrier, okay?
Oh, I understand. I was just-
Yeah, I got you. I wanna make sure, we do have Cigna and Aetna and Florida Blue and United all participating in these districts that we're working with. So the place where you choose to land in terms of your carrier always remains with the district. In Union's case, they were already Florida Blue, they ended up remaining Florida Blue, but they saved $417,000. On a total spend that was only 1.2 million to begin with. And so that was just simply by putting the horsepower Fleet to work as opposed to where they had currently been getting their services from.
Where Glades County sits geographically, everything that we do is out of area.
I got you.
It's even just to go to my regular doctor in Okeechobee is out of area because
Same way on that, but you gotta travel 45 minutes.
Cigna works for us a lot better.
Thanks for your
Yeah,
time.
just one question for me about the cost. If we become self-insured and let's say, God forbid, that one of our employees has a brain tumor or cancer or something like that, and then at the same year, we have 2 employees have a heart attack and it's huge. I mean, you gave a number, you said that, there is some room there, but what happens if we go under that? Is that something that we would be responsible for financially?
So the district is always responsible in a self-insured environment for all your claims. Now, after you take that deep exhale, in self-insured world, you purchase what's called stop loss insurance, and that's exactly what it sounds like. It stops your losses at a particular deductible level. So for example, your deductible may be, the district is on the hook for the first $100,000, and then the stop loss carrier takes everything over that $100,000 claim for those high cost events. You get charged a premium for that, to be able to have the carrier, for you to transfer that high level risk off to the carrier in the stop loss world. In your other plans that you have previously, for fully insured world, for example, you have what's called reinsurance. The carrier has got a policy that you're paying through your regular premium, but they're protecting their interests, even in a fully insured plan. So we can dive down those roads and go into that a little bit more, but the short answer is there's protection you purchase to keep your plan from going belly up.
That was actually my number one question. I have limit with the question,
That's it.
catastrophic question mark.
Yep,
It's
that's exactly right.
okay.
Well, thank you so very
Thank
much for coming, and we appreciate, I know you drove a long ways to get here, but we really appreciate it.
Before you're done, I just wanna check and see if any of the board members have questions, Mr. Lucky? Ms. Drake?
Yes, please. I liked what you were talking, you kept mentioning our 1 year, and it never works with our school fiscal year. Are you implying that some districts have a fiscal year, insurance? Because I was told we couldn't do that, and it always didn't make sense, because we're negotiating a contract and we don't know what the insurance premium is gonna be.
You can have your insurance plan year run any way you want it to. We have 1 plan year districts, we have 5 districts, we have 7 districts, we have 10 districts. Your contract, the way you set up that insurance contract, is completely up to the board and how the district wants to run that. A lot of districts run their 1 to 12/31 to be in concert with the calendar year deductible.
Okay.
Instead of having a plan year that starts at a different time, runs it anyway, there's that to consider. So there are some benefits to being a 1 group,
Okay.
but you can do anything you want.
Okay. Well, I just want to also make the comment that I noticed all our PEC members are already in this program, and so I'm like, why didn't we know about this sooner? Why are we so late to the table? But, since the Financial Emergency Board is who recommended this, I feel sure they will be in favor of us moving to it. That was the impression I got.
So they didn't recommend it, they didn't quote recommend it, they just mentioned that Union had went there. One of the reasons we didn't go sooner is because of the insurance coverage that we had was back when, gosh, I wanna say, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, when this all started in the conversations, Glades was not at a place. Do you wanna explain how, like, because we're so small and because of our claims, do you wanna talk about that?
Derek, you wanna dive into that a little bit?
Because it's not because
Yeah.
we were late to the table, it's because we weren't at a place in our district to do that.
Nobody
That
would.
they would accept us.
They didn't want insurance, yep.
Well, we did, yeah, I'll just put it, we did not have a solution set built out for districts this small. And so now we do, and now we've actually been able to demonstrate that that is the case and that it's actually working. Because there are different levels of volatility when you're talking about smaller groups of population, right? It doesn't take as much to cause volatility in your program with smaller group of people. And so we can cross all those, cross that bridge at another time as well, but we can absolutely bring you solutions, if you all choose to go forward.
In the past, whenever we would put education up for bid, we wouldn't even get it. People would come.
Yeah, I haven't seen that since I've been on the board, but I can understand it. I have one more question. So when we get in this trust, does that enlarge the size of our pool?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so that's why we're getting
Yes.
increased, okay.
So, 30-second example, once you're self-insured and inside a fleet fully active, you're able to buy prescription drugs for your employees through the plan at the same rate, at the same bulk buying power of the largest district in the trust, because we have a PBM, a pharmacy benefit program inside the trust that the district can elect to become a part of if they want to. Or we use that leverage to drive down the cost of their current carrier, RX program. We saw $3.3 million savings in Brevard alone just by going through that exercise. In my former district of Solano, they saved nearly $200,000 for just moving from one PBM to the other. Same formulary, covers the same drugs. And so, yes, you get access to that economy of scale that simply is a standalone Glades County by itself. You're approaching the market as 200 employees, right? Now you're approaching
That's
the
what we
market
need, that we
as
need.
trust.
64,000.
Exactly.
That's all I have, Chairman.
And the other thing is, just a reminder, and I know you all know this as well, but we are not just a small rural district, we are a micro district. We are a lot smaller than any other district in the consortium, by far. And so when they look at our prices and they look at a lot of things, and the comparables aren't there because we are the size of some of the schools that are consortium districts. So that's why a lot of times Glades is grouped with your Dixie, your Lafayette, those counties. So that's a little, they call us a micro district.
So we're just a geographical unit in house.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I hear you.
Well, thank you for your card. We do have your information. We appreciate you coming to Glades County today and giving us your presentation.
Feel free to reach out, call, email, we're here to help if we can.
Do you have any extra of these that I could keep? Because there may be people that in the public that would want these or not.
I'll email it to you, if that's okay. I gave you my last,
Thank you very much.
appreciate it.
Moving on to item 4.1, Mr. Gressett, if you could, and Mr. Wiseman, if you could please give us our new elementary school and renovation update.
Yes.
You can get some rollers, okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How y'all been doing?
Fantastic.
Well, it just seems like yesterday, 2 years ago, I was standing here saying, if we can get South Florida Water Management just out of our way, we can get started on this school. And we did, and we went out in that field and threw some dirt out. And now the school's going very well, as I understand. Just an update on what's going on up here with the renovation. As you know, we saved about, was the school over $4 million on the construction of the school? So rather than sending that money back to the state, we were allowed with, Dr. Barfield and Brian's help, we were able to work with DOE to be able to use that money to benefit the district. So we've been trying to spend it wisely, and what I told our people is, it's like flying an airplane. When you land, you want that airplane to be out of gas, but you wanna make sure you've got enough gas to get to the runway, so that's
A little bit of reserve.
that's where we're at right now, so we're just finishing up. They're doing some underground plumbing to connect the old buildings with some new pipe, because the old pipe had deteriorated quite a bit, so that's all happening. Started yesterday, so it should be finished by the end of the week. They're finishing up on electrical and mechanical inside of the old building. Doors and hardware are gonna go on next week. Furniture is here, that's going down, we're finishing up the flooring and the base, that should be done today. We've been, I really credit Brian and my guys for getting creative about how to keep things going with a lot of the materials and things that we needed. We didn't complete the design until right before we asked for the day before we asked for the inspection, but we all knew what we were doing, we just didn't have the signed drawings that we could get inspections with. And so they were able to do that, and we've been waiting on this transformer to get here so we can energize the building. So the transformer is here, we cannot energize until Monday because a lady named Kim at Blaze County Electric is not available, she's out of town, so
She's tough.
evidently she's the only one that can do this, so that's gonna happen on Monday, and so then we can take our temporary air conditioners out that we needed for the flooring and get the building wrapped up. We've got some fence going in, some additional site, work is going on around the building, kind of getting things cleaned up. We're expecting asphalt next week, so we're gonna patch the old parking lot and then reseal it and clean it up and try to make it look as nice as we can. That's the plan. So that's it for what's going on over there. Any questions on that? One more item we're going to cover. One of the things we put in our budget at the very beginning was a cost certification by an outside public accountant. We've gone through that process. We decided with the help of Brian and Dr. Barfield, we waited so that we could account for everything, including the $4 million in savings, so all of those receipts and, they were looking for a receipt from that I did at Home Depot like a year ago for fasteners, because I brought them out here, they didn't have it, so I'll bring the fasteners out. And so, they're looking for everything, just to make sure that it's completely accountable, and they're gonna come and present to y'all and just say, here's where all the money went, and then answer any questions that you have. It's a large firm in Bethesda, Maryland, they've done a lot of work for me for a long time, so they're the third party accountant, so they've been, just making sure that everything was spent properly, so they can assure you, because at some point in time, DOE or somebody else is gonna come to you and say, did you spend our money wisely?
That was your timing as city
Oh,
councilor.
Time's up.
No.
So, when they're done, I don't have control over their schedule, and, accountants sometimes lack the sense of urgency that contractors have, so, when they get done, I'm gonna have them come and present it all to you, and I'll be here, answer any questions, but you'll be able to tell anybody else, here's how we spent the money. And so, that's still coming.
Well, we kind of know that because we've been watching this, as it's been happening, so.
Yeah, but it's
But the public doesn't have a package.
right, and there might be somebody out there that wants it twisted for political reasons, and you wanna just kind of eliminate that and just show that, you were good stewards of the tax dollars that you were getting.
Exactly.
Is anything else I should cover? Okay, all right, this has been great, thank you all. You're
Thank you.
model clients, I really appreciate the opportunity, thank you for your trust.
Thank you. Board members, do we have any questions for Mr. Wiseman? I do have a question, I think it's more so for Mr. Preston, is the biggest question is the school zone.
Yeah, that's actually the, I can stand up to. I just talked to Mr. Wiseman's son Spencer yesterday. He said that next week they're planning on doing all the painting and putting the signage in. One thing they're waiting for, I think, was where the crosswalk is going to be located. They're waiting on a part, I guess it's a solar part, so that when the kids push the button, the light comes on for the traffic to stop so they can cross the road.
We've got a meeting at 11 o'clock, we can get just a clear answer, and Brian can get back to you.
Has Department of Transportation helped with us that at all?
No. We're working through the engineer. the engineer of record on this project, they were sold to another company, and that's been very difficult for the architect and the owner to deal with. So we're all trying to make the best of a bad situation with that transition. So
Can you please provide some sort of explanation what's happening, where we're at for our next meeting? I have a lot of parents that are calling in and saying trucks are speeding, our kids are at risk or
Yeah.
whatnot. And I just wanna make sure that we have answers and able to provide what's happening and where we're at with it.
what I would suggest is we just get a clear answer on it, give it to Brian, and he can circulate it to you all.
And we already have a plan for it, and I've already delivered that to the city manager, so the city has,
Well, share it with us.
Yeah.
Let us know now. Now, because I'm getting the same phone calls.
oh, okay, yeah, we can do it.
Okay.
We're also waiting for the Department of Transportation about 27. I know this isn't the same thing that we're talking about,
Kinda.
but, is that something that, do we have any response of where we are with that?
No, they are still doing their study, is what it comes down to.
It's just crazy to me that they're doing their study in the middle of the summer. I mean, we need it during the school year, but anyway, I just know that, when Wink was here and they did their community our affiliate station out of Fort Myers came over and did kind of an opportunity for residents to go and offer if they had a concern or whatever. And I know that several residents brought up the intersection of 27 and 78, which by means it's very dangerous, and I think we all want that to see a light go there. But I know that it was also brought up that if there's a concern that right here through Moorhaven from right there in front of First Bank all the way to the bridge, there's nothing, and we have kids crossing from the other side of 27. So I just didn't know, and I mean, it was a good segue, so thank you for that.
In regards to your question, we'll get that answer back to you separately.
And Mr. Wiseman, thank you so much for everything you and your team have done. From my understanding, it's one of the smoothest buildings that has been here in Glades County, and our district staff have praised working with you.
Well, I have really great people around me, and, you know, who's Brian and you all and my team, and, you know, all the good things that happen here has enabled us to get more work, because in construction, you're constantly working yourself out of a job. So we gotta keep reloading.
We've got more for you to do.
I hope so. I'm ready to come back.
So you're comfortable with any of the growing pains and all that have been presenting through the new school that, you know, as you're building and things show up, everything's checking boxes to get completed?
Yeah, you know, we're still in the warranty period, so at the end, I think in January, we'll do a pretty thorough walkthrough of the building again, because if there's any issues that are warranty related, we want to be able to hold subs and suppliers accountable to get that work done.
Who's responsible for that, us or you?
We are, yeah, we're still, accountable to you all through the warranty period, and then, you know, some things have extended warranties. I think we purchased a few extended warranty items just to keep your, maintenance costs down.
Thank you.
We try to do the right thing where we can.
Any further questions? Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Ms. Carla, do we have any public comments for 5.1? Okay, moving on to consent agenda, on the consent agenda, do we have any to be pulled?
My computer went dark. Well, I did, but I got them answered.
Do we have a motion to approve consent agenda?
So
Motion by Ms. Pierce, do I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Drake, second by Ms. Drake, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Is there any discussion? Okay. Moving on to 7.1, we have our action agenda. This is approval of revised 2025-2026 agreement with the Glades County Sheriff's Office for the provision of school resource officers. Mr. Grissom?
you remember that, you know, the contract with the sheriff's department was, Lake County Sheriff's Department was actually started years ago. And we've kind of just updated over and over, and there have been some things that, some pieces of it that have been going on for years that were actually in the contract. Some of that had to do with payment of officers, the number of officers. Originally, we started with 4 officers. There was 3, 1 at each of the schools, and there was a sergeant. It actually got narrowed down to 3 officers. The sergeant actually went into the schools, and when that happened, the sheriff's department was already paying for that person, is going to continue paying for that. In the contract, originally, we were paying for 3 officers, now we're only paying for 2. There was some discussion about benefits. We've always paid benefits for our SROs, and so we really just the latest update in the contract with them is that now they're going to invoice us for costs so that we have a record of exactly where those costs are going.
It was always included in the hourly.
What was that sentence? Was always included in the,
Hourly rate, their benefits were.
Right.
They weren't charged to us up and above.
I think we're finally in a total agreement, and it's interesting that it's happening in the last board meeting of June, because we'll probably bring the same contract to you just for 26, 27 very soon.
And I think just from hearing from other superintendents and talking with other county government constitutional officers, that depending on what happens in November with property taxes, that a lot of this could also be brought back up to the table, because government entities would have to cut 20% off, or however that vote goes. And I'm not, I mean, this isn't the place to discuss it right now, but we could be discussing this contract a lot differently as well in a couple of months.
Who is writing this contract? Is our council writing this contract and their council is agreeing?
They're working together, actually. Yes.
Okay. And I'm so sorry, I jumped ahead of myself and I'm getting a little excited. I did not ask for a motion to discuss and approve this. Can I please have a motion on approval of revised 2025-2026 agreement with the Glades County Sheriff's Office for the provision of school resource officers?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Drake and second by Ms. Pierce. Okay. Now discussion, if there's any more.
Madam Chairman,
Yes, ma'am.
I did speak with Sheriff Hardin because, he actually called me about something else and I had this up on my computer, so I discussed some of my concerns about it with him that I've had every year. Because to me, it is a very muddy contract. For example, section 4 says that, it has I think I'm in this section right, but my notes say the sentence in red negates the previous sentence. So one sentence says, sheriff's office is going to pay all the benefits. And then the very next sentence says, and then the school district will be, invoiced. Well, it should say, the wording is it's like one sentence says one thing and the next doesn't further explain it, it negates it. The first sentence needs to say, covers, checks will be written, but then district will be reimbursed. To me, I don't like that part of it. I also, well, in my notes I wrote the sheriff's office, it should be clear to say maybe the sheriff's office will issue the checks to SROs with deductions made, but the school will be invoiced for reimbursement of those benefits. In section 7, it states that the sheriff's office is going to pay for the general liability, where in that previous section 4, it said we were gonna be invoiced for the liability. Also, I don't believe the contract talks about the third SRO being paid for by the sheriff's office. I saw Mr. Lucky's question on that, and that's just something that we all understand. Yeah, we're gonna provide two and they're gonna give one, but all of that needs to be in writing. And the sheriff agreed with me. He said he hasn't personally looked at the contract in a while, a few years. And his recommendation was that our board sit down with him, the superintendent and his staff, and we really make sure that everybody, now, I'm gonna go ahead and vote for it today. But I think in the future, this contract needs to be looked at and
Cleaned up.
cleaned up.
Okay.
Yes, that's my 2 cents on that.
This contract only has a few more days left on it,
Is this for the previous school year, you're saying?
but it automatically renews.
I didn't know.
You know, but some of that is.
We can work on this in our workshop.
And we had issues and we've been playing with emails back and forth and we were almost threatened by one of the employees at the sheriff's department about timing this and getting it done and we're gonna do it their way. So that threw us behind a little bit. And there's things that we just didn't know and understand, and as one of the newer school board members, I didn't know the history of how we have one sergeant that the sheriff's department paid for, and it made me hesitant. I was looking at things with a jaundiced eye. Okay, like, wait a minute, as in I wanna protect my district. And I'm looking at things that way, and then I hear, well, they're paying for the sergeant, or whoever that is that goes out to a new school. Well, then I wonder, well, should I step back? Should I bow and say thank you? And step back, or do I continue to look at this with, under scrutiny? And, it just makes me, it just sends me back to the point where I'm like, I just don't understand everything. I don't understand what we're doing, certain things. And I don't know what other districts do, so I don't know if we are, if we've got the best around, the best contract, the best, series of services, or
We do.
do we not? I just wish it was clear.
It's just not written very well.
And 2, some districts, it's a 50-50 deal. Right now, we're paying 2/3. And the argument is, well, you get the safe schools allotment that covers your SROs, but we need other things too. We may need another medical detector, we may need more fencing, security cameras. I mean, nothing in the safe schools says this must go to your SRO. We're just blessed that we get it and we can pay them with that. And honestly, the sheriff was open to that. I mentioned to him that I think one of our neighboring counties does a 50-50. Here's the total cost, benefits, salary. They do pay for weapons and things like that, he told me. But everything I think should go in the bucket of all the total costs. And I think what would be a fair deal for us, Mr. Lucky, would be a 50-50 split at minimum.
Well, our sheriff's department isn't in any better financial position than we are.
I don't know. We say that, but I didn't know that.
He's come and talked to us and proved
But
it.
a comparison of what other districts have would be very beneficial, I think, in us saying, we're happy with 2/3, we feel like we're getting a good deal with 2/3. What do the other districts pay?
Well, we have,
Some districts, I believe Dr. Barfield and I had this discussion, the sheriff's department covers all of the cost of their SROs.
So I'm gonna go back on this. This has been a conversation, that I brought out several years ago because prior to, me saying, okay, this contract doesn't look right, remember, there was a lot of handshake, it was based on a handshake. And I said, I don't want it that way, I want a contract. So that caused a whole issue, because I wouldn't go by a handshake. I said I wanted it in writing. So then we pulled this contract out, and I wanna remind the board, there are ways that we don't have to pay this money, but those are ways that you all don't want to, we've already discussed that, about having a true SRO at each school. That's something that I told you, we don't have to have an SRO at each school as long as we are a participant in the Guardian program.
I'm not for that.
So, I'm not gonna argue that, I'm just saying, there are ways around this. I think that if you look across the state of Florida, I think that we are financially getting an okay deal. I'm not saying it's the best deal out there, because there are counties that pay 100%. But I can also tell you that, and Mr. Grosset and I was at a county, Board of County Commissioners meeting, and when the Sheriff's Department did ask for, it was for a 911 operator, which was a state mandated, an ask of the Sheriff's Department, that they were told they had to have, and the Board of County Commissioners said no. So, it's not just our board saying, oh yes, we want to, it's not just us, it's a contract with the Board of County Commissioners. So, if you wanna negotiate this, then we need to have a specific, we need to put it back on the agenda, we need to open it up, we need to get more figures, and I am 100% okay with doing that. But it also is gonna fall on you as a board, is how you want to set this up, because there are ways to cut money. I feel like we are very safe, I think our schools are very safe, I think every school has an SRO. We have three schools, two that are paid for by our budget, and one that the Sheriff's Department is paying for. There are a lot of school districts that do not have that deal. But like I said, if you wanna go back into this and us renegotiate and rewrite this, I don't know how else to formulate this. I've already had the attorneys look at it, their attorneys have looked at it. I mean, I don't know what else to do.
Well, the absolute last place that I wanna save money is in the safety of our students.
100%. But,
Ms. Reese,
I know we'll talk about this in the budget workshop, but since this is a key conversation that we'll have, and I think that there's a space for us to have that conversation in support of what, and I know this may not be what you all want to discuss. And I understand that the safety of our students is very important. But I think that there's a space for us to talk about what the Guardian program looks like in maintaining the safety of our students, because as that contract remains stagnant, our FEFP is being reduced. So for all of the SRO contract that we want to maintain, what is that meaning for the safety of our schools? Because right now, there isn't money to function to make sure that we have metal detectors and all of the things that remain to keep us safe, the alarm systems, all of that is not going to occur, because everything that we receive right now in our FEFP for safe schools is literally going, 83% of that money is going to the contract. So tell me, what else am I supposed to do in order to maintain the safety, the alert system that Mr. Thomas wants and all of that thing? So I think that there's a space for us to look at what a number 2 situation would look like in comparison with our number 1 situation. Because if we're only receiving $356,000 and this contract is $230,000 and I'm trying to remain balanced, those decisions, I get it. We definitely want to make sure that we have all the SROs that we need. But what does that look like as we navigate from July 1 to June 30th financially?
And now is the perfect time. I mean, thank you for pointing the dates out to me, Ms. Clement, because in my assumption, I was looking at the upcoming school year agreement. So, I mean, I'm happy to approve this one since the year's over anyway. But I think we should take the sheriff up on his offer to have a sit-down meeting with all of his administrative staff, all of ours, the board, the superintendent, and let's hammer out a new one for next year. That would be my suggestion.
so
That's fine.
this contract will move forward if we vote on it today, and it ends in 5 days. The contract here says the agreement shall automatically renew on its anniversary date unless terminated by either party by giving at least 6 months written notice to another party. That's going to put us renewing this contract in 6 days, being renewed automatically. I thought that this used to say how much it would be for the SRO to have to, like, if they're staying after for games, or if they're doing other things, it used to say what they would be paid hourly, that is not in this one. I'm not sure why that was redlined and taken out. But I am all for, if we have a great working relationship with our sheriff's department, I wanna keep that relationship, but it is very important, as Ms. Reese brought our both financial situations, that we ask, can we please, before the automated renewal of this contract, please meet for our in writing agreement, nothing just mutually agreed on, we need it both parties in writing, just for our coverage.
Let's get this passed the way that it is, and we have all summer at all of our workshops to actually work with the sheriff's department.
Dr. Barfield, would you be the one to contact the sheriff and get that workshop? How does that look, Ms. Carla, for us to, under Sunshine, be able to do that?
There would have to be an informational item somewhere along the line or during the budget meeting.
Can we get that
And part of
confirmed?
that, I'm not sure when the Board of County Commissioners, when they start setting their budget.
Right now,
This,
right now.
that, because the sheriff's department asked for that, it's the Board of County Commissioners that would apply the funding for that. Just like you said, we were at a meeting 2 years ago where they asked for a backup 911 operator, and the Board of County Commissioners says, no, we're not gonna do it.
Well,
And
actually,
I wanna go back to the statement, depending on what happens in November with property taxes, this is going to be a crucial piece of school board business that you all are gonna have to decide on, because they're gonna get cut. And if it passes, they're gonna get cut, and they're already being asked, and from my understanding, I was told this, I do not know this to be factual, but I was told that all all county government is gonna have to cut 20% off their budget, or to come up with a plan to cut 20% off their budgets. If that is the case, this is gonna put us in a big situation.
Well, I don't think leaning on school guardians is going to be the answer either, because although a lot of people like that, I mean, I'm all for school guardians, there are very, very, very few people that step up and wanna do it. There are people that want them, but there are very few people that are willing to actually be a school guardian, because there's no extra pay for that, that's just something that they have in their heart that they want to do.
Which makes it easier.
Dr. Barfield, can you have those conversations so that we can have it put on our next meeting for that informational and get it started?
Yes, and what I'll do is I will do a, kind of just a memo of conversation with the sheriff, and I will also include the Board of County Commissioners. First I'm gonna go through Mike McKinley to confirm that I'm doing it correctly, because I don't want to engage or break the sunshine, but I wanna keep you all updated because this is not just us and the SROs, it's us, Sheriff's Department, Board of County Commissioners, and also the Office of Safe Schools, because there's a lot of statutes that we have to make sure we're covering based on how we're, making sure that all of our schools are covered. Yes,
It
ma'am.
must be covered in the workshop. Yes, Ms. Anderson.
Do we have a meeting, the shared meeting that we have with the county commissioner scheduled for this year? Because that would be a great time to do it whenever we're all together.
So, Ms. Pierce, out of all due respect, and I hope that I'm not, I'm sure I'm gonna get backlash on what I'm fixing to say, but I really feel like for the past several years that we've had those meetings, nothing has been accomplished. I feel like they do it, the participants do it out of the, just to be at the table, but that nothing else to get discussed. And I'm honestly, I'm tired of going through the hoop, jumping through the hoops to make somebody else feel like they, have a place at the table, but they don't wanna work at the table. And I'm just gonna tell you, because every time we bring something up, we started that back when I became a superintendent in 2020. And I can tell you, and Mrs. Drake, if you remember, the first one was out at ITech, and it was it was from that time on, it went downhill. And it's like, nobody wants to be the bad guy, nobody wants to be not in the spotlight, and nobody wants to be praised, and nobody wants to do the work either. And honestly, I'm tired of the Glades County School District being the only one that steps up to do anything. And I'm just saying it, and I'm sure I'm gonna get a lot of, phone calls, because I'm sure whoever's watching the meetings will say, well, what about this, or what about that? But if you go back to those meetings, and they're recorded, we're the only ones that are giving, and we're the only ones that are bringing suggestions, and then it's always put on us. And I'm tired of that.
I was gonna say, in hindsight, a lot is supposedly accomplished at those meetings and discussed, but then it's never followed through. Never comes to fruition.
Mr.
And
Ryan,
those
did we
meetings went on
have
too, that's what
a workshop or anything,
Not
or
just since you
a meeting on school safety that we need to put into our budget, or can that be covered out of the, workshop? So we do have a budget workshop following this, we can cover, do we have any more discussion on this item? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve? We already voted on that, okay. So no more discussion. Yes, again, Ms.
So my direction from the board is to what?
I would like to have you contact the sheriff's department and make sure that we can have a meeting, set a date, whatnot. Ms. Carla, have it on our next agenda so that we can approve it. We'll be in.
Do you want the sheriff's department, do you want the Macon Board of County, like, who else do you want?
Who needs to be at the table for this?
Wait a minute, I think now we're talking about two different things, because originally, when Crystal was talking, she mentioned that the sheriff said that we needed to sit back down, or he asked that we would sit back down with them to discuss the SRO. Then we transitioned to when we used to have the meetings with, and nobody said city commissioners, but it was county, city, and school board. Okay, then your comments were, in my opinion, they were about those meetings with those three entities.
100%.
But we're voting only on what's on the
So
agenda.
Dr. Barfield's guidance is to please talk to the sheriff, get what dates and information he has so that we can sit down and be under sunshine. We have to vote on that, Ms. Carter will put it on our next agenda, we have to vote, once we have that approval, we can meet and
But this is really about the SRO issue,
contract, yes.
not about sitting down with the county commissioner. I just wanna make sure that I understood, because our conversation got a little broader, and then I wanted to make sure we weren't talking about two different things. We were talking about two different things, but we're also voting
But right now,
about
we're
just
voting on
SRO.
only what's on the agenda.
And I might throw out that perhaps the meeting with the sheriff and his folks could be held during one of our advertised workshops. And then that way we don't have another meeting, but we could sit down with our CFO and we could do it in a public workshop and you won't have to
That's what
schedule
Well,
anything else.
What I would like to do, what I would like to do is to also have it, live. Or video it.
I want whatever's gonna get people to come to the table to meet.
Okay,
Let's be transparent.
I'm willing, but
Here's
if
my,
they don't
I
like
get
that-
what you're saying, but here's my thing, we can be as transparent, we can be as open, we can be inviting of everybody, but somebody has to do the work, and someone has to make the decisions, and it just can't always fall back on the
But you're
school.
talking about the,
No, I'm talking about this contract.
oh,
okay, so Dr.
now I'm
Barfield's
confused
direction,
with Larry, because that sounded like comments about the meetings.
No,
Dr. Barfield is moving forward with talking with the sheriff and getting a meeting set and Ms. Carter will
Yes.
put it on our next meeting.
yes and yes.
Thank you guys, is there
Absolutely.
no more discussion on that?
Sorry.
Moving on to,
No, I wanna address this, I wanna vote on
okay. All in favor, say aye.
it. Aye.
All opposed, say no, or nay. Motion carries. Yes, I get to excited.
It's way harder than it was.
All right, 7.2, approval of the quote from Amoresco Inc. for repairs to the air conditioning systems at Westlake School contingent upon receipt of state funding. Mr. Daniel Thomas. Wait, all in favor, or motion to approve,
So moved.
Ms. Drake? That was Ms. Pierce. I mean, Ms. Pierce,
Second.
seconded by Ms. Drake. I'll get there, y'all, I'll get there. Okay, go ahead. Now your turn, Mr.
Good morning.
Good morning.
As I'm sure you guys are aware, we requested appropriations from the state for a couple of projects we're working on here. Currently, we're scheduled to receive half the funding for the air conditioning system at the West Place campus that we requested. We would like to use that to update the air conditioning units, and the fresh air handling units would be at a later date, maybe we can get more appropriations. There's a timing issue. We'd like to be finished with this project before school starts next August. However, the governor hasn't signed the budget yet, so we are still kind of in limbo there. But, we have the quote from Amoresco. They're gonna act as the contractors, and they're going to, once we sign this, they will start ordering the materials, contingent of the bill being signed. The day that's signed, they'll start ordering the materials and they'll start putting on the quotes for the labor. Of course, we will have we will look at those quotes to be able to follow along and approve those as they go. But what I'm asking you guys for today is, would you consider giving me contingent approval that once the governor signs the bill, that we can then sign this contract, in lieu of having to meet again in a few weeks for the next board meeting, so that, we can get a little bit head start on this. All you would be doing is saying, yes, we approve to use Amoresco if the money is provided to us.
Well, absolutely, because it doesn't matter whether they provide the money or not. We're not gonna send our kids to school in an unair conditioned school.
Right,
So
well,
go about what you gotta do.
okay. With your approval of this, when the governor signs the budget and we have the money in the bank, we will sign the contract with Amoresco.
Where's the other half of the money coming from?
Well, I think our current goal is to, again, ask for appropriations on the next round to fill in the gap. For this coming year.
So all work that will be done under this is what has been requested under appropriations to,
Yes,
to the work.
yes.
And they only approved half of our ask. That's what you meant by half.
We got our full, well, it was signed, we're waiting on the governor. Rumor has it that the Friday's the day that it's gonna happen, that the governor's gonna be signing, so keep your prayers, going up. But we got our full ask on the roof and only partial for our air conditioning, HVAC.
Well, that's going to allow us to complete a significant amount of work, but we'd like to have it done before school starts, so there's a timing issue.
We'll replace all the air conditioners that are 20 years old right now, and most all of them are 11 years old.
Is this still one building? This is
It's a whole system.
all,
I think there are 33 units that are being
That sounds close.
replaced.
They'll both replace the outside unit and the upstairs units for each classroom. And, I think we get them, every one of the original units replaced, saved 4 that are put into the new 600 building. They're still within their, allotted time of life, so we can hopefully accomplish that on the next round of funding.
And then some of these might still be working. Can we save them or maybe have one go out?
We can,
Parts or
we'll
something?
store them, we'll save some parts. Well, Rayon will do that, he's
The ones that are 20 years old,
yeah, they'll, they use the wrong AC, they're the wrong refrigerant. We'll probably scrap them.
Mr. Troyer even said it, so at this point, some of the items that are there, they don't have parts to replace on those. So the other half of the fund, where do we support that?
Well, so that's going to be,
we're doing as much
100%
as we can with the money we have.
right, 100% of what we're proposing to do right now is coming from appropriations. There's another part of the AC system, if you remember the fresh air system, that needs to be repaired and replaced as well. We're going to ask for appropriations on this next, I guess 27, 28, 26, 27, to, I'm not sure, the next round, to do the rest of the project. So, it's all gonna come out of appropriations just now in 2 pieces instead of.
So when the school opens, all classrooms will have comfortable air.
That's the current plan, yes, ma'am.
Please don't have them down
Well, that's the reason,
on the first day of school.
That's why they
that's-
need to do it right
the
now.
reason for the urgency of trying to get you guys getting this contingent approved.
I'd like to make a motion on the urgency to approve.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. All opposed?
Second.
Yeah, we had already had a motion.
Okay, just making sure.
Before you said that.
Okay, motion carries.
Of course.
Thank
The FEB will have to do that.
Okay, so,
Yeah, I do that.
Actually, they don't because
No.
it's appropriation.
No, they don't.
It's not part of the general fund.
Okay.
This contract does not have to go before the FPD because this is special approval.
okay, Dr. Barfield has brought on, 7.3 for approval to not charge participation fees to Glades County School District or private school students under Senate Bill 538. Do I have a motion to approve? Motion moved by Ms. Pierce. Do I have a second?
I'll second, so we can discuss.
Motion approved by Ms. Pierce, seconded by Ms. Drake. Can I, open for discussion?
Ms. Clemens, can I take a 3-minute break, just 3 minutes? Please.
You got 3 minutes.
Everybody just stay where they are, just have 3 minutes.
Can you see me?
Yes, I need you to see me. I have a push cam.
This is why it's.
Y'all a lot of sunshine, and that's real cool. Two board members cannot meet with the superintendent, that's sunshine.
They went to the bathroom.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
Ms. Amber, can you pull my presentation, please?
Got you ready to go, ma'am?
3 minutes, guys, that was the longest 3 minutes right there. All right, Ms. Oh, sorry.
Okay, we are back in this, our meeting. Okay, so Dr. Barber does have a presentation for us.
Quick question. Hello.
Is that I'm so sorry.
I just looked at it.
People still calling.
Saturday night. In about 5-6 hours. It was. And they showed us what our, we're going to do, exact time to, what we had 7 years. And we, so they could see, you saw
Board docs tonight?
there's 3 weeks.
Right there. It's the personnel report on this thing, so.
Okay, Dr. Barber, will you have
They did
a
it.
presentation?
Okay, so thank you for allowing me that 3 minutes. I wanted to bring this to your attention. I know that there's a lot of districts across the state that are having the same conversation. But I wanted to give you some different information because what happens in one county doesn't necessarily fit every county. And Glades County is probably one of the most unique counties in the state, and this is going to affect us greatly. So, Senate Bill 530A is expanding athletic participation and new participation of the authority. And I'm not gonna read word for word. However, many districts across Florida are handling this differently. Some are going to be putting a fee on students that are in private schools that are going to be playing in our public schools. They're gonna charge them only. Some districts are charging every athlete in the whole entire school a participation fee. Under Senate Bill 538, you can charge up to $400 per sport for eligible students who are not enrolled in the district's public schools. That can cover transportation, uniforms and equipment, officials, faculty maintenance, security, insurance, and operations. So what are some of the important considerations? That it expands opportunities for private school students, helps offer increasing athletic expenses, and supports long-term sustainability of public school athletic programs. Alright, so same state, different reality. We are winning against all odds. One thing that I want you to see on this is specifically Glades County versus Florida. 37.7% of people in our county live in poverty. However, and that's compared to 13.1% in the state, 62.4% of children under 18 live in poverty. Those are students that are in our schools. Where comparably, 18.6% of children in the state live in poverty. So as you can see, Glades County is much higher. The median household income in Glades County is $31,995, and that is compared to the statewide average of $75,149. And that is based on the US Census Bureau, and I will be sending you these slides, so you can take pictures, but I'll send them to you as well. So,
Dr. Barfield?
yes,
I just happen to know the number, the very bottom line of middle class for a household is $60,000 a year.
we're middle class, where are you seeing that?
I know that.
Oh,
So I'm just
okay.
pointing that out, so when you see median household,
Yeah.
you have to have $60,000 just to be the bottom of middle class for 2 parents and 2 children. And look how far we are from that.
But the number on this graphic that I want you to focus on is this right here. 62.4% of our students in our schools are in poverty, and that is huge. Okay, extracurricular opportunities are not fully funded. Under Florida Statute 1006.15, student participation in interscholastic extracurricular activities is a privilege and it's not a mandated right. When we get our money from the state, how do you bridge the gap to provide opportunities? So you have local revenues, you have activities fees where they're permitted and if the board decides on it, fundraising efforts, community partnerships. So where I'm going with this is the stand I take on this issue. Alright. Cost of referees. So you're asking, well, why is this a problem? Why is this coming to the school board? I put some data together. I want to thank Angie in transportation. I want to thank Ms. Murray. I also want to thank Mrs. Smith over at the high school, as well as West Glades bookkeeper, because these numbers are coming from them pulling from their records. In the year 2022, and this is only because we don't have these records. A lot of these records at that time were not stored in computer-based programs. So 2022 is kind of a wash. So don't even look at that, but I had the data, so I put it up there. In 2023, the cost of referees was $20,455. This is just for referees. In 2024, it was $29,548. In 2025, it was $36,818. And 2026, it was $26,627. And I have the breakdown of sports as well. One of the things you're probably asking, well, why does 25 and 26, why is there well, because if you are traveling a lot, you don't have to pay the referee fees. The home team pays for the referees.
Okay. Plus, isn't that number just representing up till today?
Correct.
So it could still be
This could
36
still,
by the time I get to December.
and that does not cover when sports take the vans. Okay, so if you have a track team and they take a van, it doesn't cover because we've not charged for vans. So when the cross-country team at West Glades takes a van, we've never charged that. We've never, so when the baseball team,
This is just referees, so.
I'm sorry, yes, wrong slide. Okay, so, before I go into transportation, this is 23-24 school year and 24-25 school year. In 23-24, there were 18 fundraisers across 8 sports. This came directly out of the bookkeeper's records, and there were 5 cross-country fundraisers. There were 2 cheer fundraisers, 1 soccer, 2 baseball, 1 softball, 1 basketball, 1 weightlifting, 4 track, and 2 volleyball.
Dr. Barfield,
Yes,
I'm just gonna move so I can.
you're good, you're good. As a total raised in 24-25, we raised $11,936.11. Now, this does not account for any, donation from any, parent or, booster club. And I'll go into that in a little bit, but, on 11/24, the Booster Club gave $1,200 for, dinner for a football trip. They also gave $2,500 to help pay a referee bill. They gave a $500 donation for cross country. And on 10/30/25, they gave $1,700 to pay for a charter bus to go to an out-of-state game. Now, that is what it went through the school district.
Which sport was that last one?
Football, yes. And the 500 cross-country was check number 1022 for 500, and that was 1/10/25. And then 12/2/24 was, basketball. Okay, now, in these conversations, because there was something put on social media about, the football team was thanking the Booster Club for the uniform. So I called the principal, Mr. Thomas, did we make sure we wrote a, write a thank you note because I don't know what you're talking about. I said, well, the Booster Club donated brand new uniforms, we need to make sure we thank them. No, they didn't, and so we called the bookkeeper, hey, the Booster Club. No, they didn't. So, called Mr. Patterson. Mr. Patterson, yeah, we bought, they said they needed new uniforms. The school never was notified about that. So, we have worked with, Mr. Patterson, and we have a new procedure of how we're gonna be communicating that. And I've requested 2 meetings now with the Booster Club to discuss ways that we can better communicate, because, to be honest, I don't know what it is that they contributed, because we only have record of 4 things, so. But there's a lot of fundraising going on.
Dr. Barfield,
Yes, sir.
I don't know how good your memory is, but I brought this up about a year and a half ago about the board needing to know when things were donated so that we knew it and could say thank you. And one of the reasons is because it goes all the way back to 30, 40 years ago when I know somebody in my family was given lots and lots of stuff and the board knew nothing about it. So this has been going on, so I think we need, it doesn't have to be a written policy, but we do need a procedure so this doesn't happen again and again.
I agree with Mr. Lucky, and it should be a written policy. The head of each department, whether it be athletic or whatever, needs to make us aware of donations or where their money is. Whenever they do fundraisers or whatever, that all needs to be for us to see.
Okay, so I'm gonna move right on into transportation costs. Okay, so the blue is Westglades, and remember they have, cross-country, they have volleyball, they have soccer, basketball, yes. So they have a lot fewer students. But in 23-24, they were billed $3,228.81. Moorhaven Middle High School was billed $22,638.91. And 24-25, they were billed $2,671.19. And at Moorhaven Middle High School, they were billed $30,814.95. And in 25-26, $3,839.59, and Moorhaven Middle High School, $23,032.13, for a grand total for just the past 3 years. And we are missing some sports that have not finished or have not been billed correctly, they've not been billed completely. A total of $86,225.58.
And does that include gas as well as?
That is gas and that's
And the
paying the
driver's
driver,
fee?
yes.
Okay.
But what I want everyone to understand is, this is where the donations, this is where the fundraisers are going to, is to get our kids to these places. Because Glades County, because of our location, where the schools that we play are so far away, the gas is more, the drivers are more, so we pay more.
Dr. Barfield, what is that, 25, 26 total for all schools far right? Is that 26?
$26,871.72.
And is there something that our athletic department lacks that these teams don't come here? I mean, I know there was something with the track that we didn't have for some of the bigger events to be held.
Yeah, are we like 50% home, 50% away? Or
So-
are we spending more, are we?
Yes, I will get to that, yes, okay. So private school parents and homeschool parents are helping by donation. Now, this is where there's a lot of conversation going on in the community, and not just our community, but across the state. We can charge up to $400, okay, a private school. So based on, we had approximately 12 students, guys, I want you to remember this, okay? 12 students that came from private school to play at Moorhaven High School, okay? 12.
Private or homeschool?
No, just private, because homeschool, you
It's
can't.
our school.
Yes.
What?
It's our school, we can't charge for those. This is
They're
private.
inclusive of us. Private are the only ones that don't give any money toward anything.
So 12 students at 400, that's $4,800 that we would have gotten from those students if we would have charged them $400, okay? I'm gonna go up here and I'm not gonna mention names because I didn't have the opportunity to ask the people if I could use their names, but I can tell you that the coaches would be glad to. We had a private school parent that their child played baseball. Well, they donated a $3,000 pitching machine. 4,800 guys total, okay? One parent, a $3,000 pitching machine that they donated. He also donated a camera for live streaming, and also he donated team warm-ups. We're way over 4,800. Total, one parent brought in, private school parent, brought in over $7,000. Softball. You have a softball team, you have kids that are in private school, they're coming over. These parents, not just the private school parents, but these parents, the private school parents, they donate to food. They make food, they bring it in, they sell it, they use it for fundraisers. They sell merchandise. And they sell raffle tickets. They also win when you have, and I can think of, on this situation, I'm thinking of 2 of our softball players that were private school, out of the bottom 12, not only do they come, and not only do their parents come, but they bring a huge crowd with them. So we're increasing our participation, which increases our ticket sales at these games. All right, volleyball. You can think of an instance on volleyball where we have a parent who is a private school parent. She comes to the games, she works all the clocks. If we had to have paid somebody to do that, once again, this $4,800 has now become nothing. Also volleyball, volleyball is our hugest, they make tons of money. And it's because of volunteer hours, a lot of times of our parents that are private school parents. Finally, football. We have a parent of a football player who is a private school player whose parent volunteered by working the chains. Comes every game, he works the chains. He also does some filming. These are all things that make a huge difference. And, I know everybody's quick to, let's charge them $400, but guys, we're talking about 12 students. We're talking about 12 students that could possibly bring in $4,800. Our private school parents are bringing in that much individually. So,
Only 50,000 accounted so far.
Dr. Barfield, where do, ticket sales per specific sports event go?
they go into each team's account.
Okay.
It's showing here.
It's dual screened, or split screen.
Another question?
Yeah, absolutely.
In a world where there's no such thing as a free lunch, and you mentioned that, the sports not being charged when the band takes them, who's paying for that?
Not the school district, our general fund.
Is that for charters and other events that we use as well?
So anytime the vans are used, we have not been billing the schools. And that comes out of transportation because we have to pay for upkeep on the vans, we have to pay for gas. We have encouraged our coaches to go get their CDL or CDLs, okay? And because, I mean, Ms. Langdale can tell you that as a coach, she saved a lot of money for the district because she drove. And if we had to charge someone, it would have been quite a bit of money. Okay. I'm almost afraid to touch this. No, you're fine.
And it did something on this slide.
Okay, I missed it. So my recommendation to the board is that we do not charge the fee. There is a district, another district, several districts that are looking at charging every student athlete. We are a poor district. Our students are poor. We have kids that when we go away to away games, they don't have money when they stop at McDonald's to buy their dinner because their family can't afford it. And a lot of people say, well, they should prioritize their money or they shouldn't buy cigarettes or that's not our place. Our place is to educate children and to do everything we can in making sure that we're providing an equitable education, but also an equitable experience. There's passion for me is making sure that every kid in our school that I stand for every child in our school. And I feel like us charging is going to take that and make the more affluent students have opportunities that our less affluent students would have. So my recommendation to the board is that we do not charge our students.
And this is over $4,800 so far.
Well, when you have right now, correct. I will entertain any questions you may have.
Can this presentation also be added to Board Docs?
Yes. Yes. I will also, put this, I will email each board member.
Okay, do we have any questions for Dr. Barker?
I just have a comment, I don't know exactly how to say it, Lord help me say it. I didn't like reading about it on Facebook. I would prefer if things like this come up, that you give the board an opportunity to discuss it first as a board, not individually. And because you kind of painted us in the corner with that post, and due to sunshine, we weren't legally allowed to respond to your post. So, I just would ask that in the future, if you have a big issue like this that you are passionate about, and you changed my mind. I wanted to charge, And then after discussing it with you and further thought, and I shared with you comments parents have made to me as well, about all the things that they do, and I've seen it in my own family, so I know it's true. We use a lot of our private school parents as volunteers, and my hope is always that they will love the sport so much that they'll want to get back in our school. That's why I want them to still be allowed to participate. But I just felt a little blindsided by the post, and I just wanted to make it public.
Well, I immediately backed it up whenever I saw that it was done, it kind of felt like it was at the sheriff, because Okeechobee County is going through the same thing, it was really, really, really bad, so I put even at how this is what Glades County is doing about it, and I shared it on Facebook so that people in Okeechobee could see it as well, and they're changing their mind as well, because they're doing much better than we are.
It just jeopardizes us with the sunshine, giving your opinion or your lack of opinion.
Well, it was just a
Throughout.
statement, I didn't give an opinion. It was just a statement, her statement. I didn't, but everybody's.
It didn't show up on my Facebook.
It would have crossed sunshine if you would have commented, if there would have been comments, but
To
none of
each
them
other?
commented, so.
As board members,
The bigger picture and, Ms. Drake, I appreciate you letting me know how you feel, because I should have probably, notified each of you all that, my feelings on it. I think probably, and this is, something that I work on daily, that I get a topic like this that I'm very passionate about, and I go to a lot of these meetings at the state level, and I hear, what they're doing, and sometimes I sit there in awe, because I think sometimes I feel like no one is really, no one is defending students, and especially poverty students or students that are of less means. It's not an equal playing field. And I feel like that there's so much going on politically that people are afraid to make decisions and to make statements. I 100% understand where you're, what you said, and I do apologize. I would never want to put my board in that situation. But I want it known that we have a very unique population, and I put this in my post. This is what's right for Glades County. This might not be right for Okeechobee, or it might not be right for Hendry County. Their population is way different than ours. But I know that, since I put that post out there, I've had some very interesting conversations from donors that said, oh my gosh, we'll pay the fee, let us help. So I think it's generated some conversation on ways we can raise money, because in the I guess the long and the short of it, we've got to find out a way that we can raise this money. Our kids cannot keep selling donuts to pay off a $28,000
and asking
transportation
people
fee.
to donate over and over and over again.
We gotta figure out a better way. And I know that every dollar is important, but sometimes sports is what keeps an extracurricular, I'm not just saying sports, in this situation, sports. But sometimes the FBLA is the reason a child comes to school. You can't teach them if they're not there and they're not in their seat. And I've said this, and I know that this is a I guess an opinion, but I don't care, it's my opinion, and I'm in this seat right now. I'm the superintendent of Glades County School District, but I feel like I am over every student, even the homeschool students. I have a part in their education, because I want to make sure that Glades County is the best choice. We are the best ticket in town. We are an excellent school system. And if we bring a kid here to play baseball, just had a phone call yesterday, I'm trying to think who was in the office, had 2 district people in the office. Their kid came to a volleyball open gym, and our husband coming to a volleyball open gym, or something that the volleyball team is doing, maybe a camp. They are a private school in a different county, and they're like, we want to come to Glades County, and I said, well, unfortunately, there's a new law, you can't come to Glades County because the new law says you have to play in your own hometown. Well then we'll come you know, what can we do to get into, we'll enroll them in Glades County. Well, you can do that. You can enroll your student in Glades County, but you can't enroll them in a private school in another county. A lot of what we're dealing with is bigger than us. It is on the state level, it's Florida High School Athletic Association, it's state, you know, legislatures. But one thing we can do is we can make the best decision for the students that we have and for the situation that we face.
I have to ask you a question, when did school choice change?
Yeah, you confused me with that statement you just made.
School choice and as well as
It changed, it's the school choice, it's Florida High School Athletic Association. If a student is, for example, a student attends, and I'm just gonna use a name, Clewiston Christian, and they live in Clewiston, they are not going to be allowed to play sports in Glades County.
Because?
That bill just got signed in July for activity moving forward, that if you, previously, you were able to play sports wherever you wanted to and go to a private school. Now, they are, as like Dr. Barfield just said, it's going to be heavy on us, but it really is because of the bigger counties, Broward, Dayton, Palm Beach, where those students are sitting in Broward and playing in Fort Lauderdale and Miami. So the rule just went into act July 1.
Now, there are
So they're not
some-
allowed, you're saying they're not allowed, so why are we even having the conversation? If they're not allowed to come here, then we can't pay their fee anyway. Or can they come if we pay the fee?
Well, she was talking about the private schools. In the past, that was any private school that was allowed to come.
Right.
Well, we're
Yeah,
not
because
talking
we
about
have-
the past, we're talking
And we
about
have
the future.
private, because we have private schools in Glades County.
Okay.
So the private school students,
Yes,
because we have had private school students from out of county as well, play up as late as last year. So the new law says if you live in Highlands
You gotta play in high.
and you go to private or public in Highlands, you cannot play sports in Glades.
correct. They are doing grandfather waivers. If you played the sport the year before, they are doing grandfather waivers. But you know how for many years here, you could play football in Glades County and go and play basketball in Highlands County. That is all stopped. You cannot do that anymore. You play, wherever you play for one sport, you play for all sports. It's all new. This is all brand new.
I will say, whenever I seen what Okeechobee County did, I was the first one to, I mean, I don't know if I was the first one or not, but I sent it to Dr. Barfield, like, look at this, what is our thoughts? And initially, I was like, this is a way to get money. Then I talked to my mentor through the FSBA, and she did not have the same thoughts, and so I then started talking to parents, and I started talking to coaches, and whenever we're looking at our rosters, that these kids are kicking butt here in Glades County, right here in little old Moorhaven, doing great in sports and doing better in their curriculum during their classes because of these sports. They're filling these rosters that we otherwise would not be able to fill that roster to have that team. Parents, coaches, everybody immediately changed my mind about, when I first came on board, when you're making decisions, you gotta make decisions what's best for the kids. And I felt like my decision should be what's best financially. And when we look at financial decisions, we did see what those, parents are bringing in, what those donors were bringing in, to where I personally changed my mind immediately as my mentor, and she gave me a lot of advice of what I needed to look into, and I was able to do that. Thankfully, people were open to talking, and parents were a little in detail of what their questions would be, of where the money would go if they got it. You know, there was a lot of questions in there. So thank you for bringing this up, and it's something that has to be brought today because it has to be voted on by July 1.
And let me also say this too. I wanna go back to something that, in my presentation, you know, these were just things that I knew of personally, that I knew about the baseball, the donation, I knew about the softball donation. These are things that there were things I didn't even know about. I did not reach out to any of the private school parents. I could have called and said, hey, come in, I want you to be a part of this conversation. I've had a couple reach out to me and say, you know, online and say, hey, is there anything you need from me? I can provide. I want our teams to be successful. The majority of our teams are brick and mortar Lake County kids, the majority of our team. We have, football has a higher number of students coming over from a different county. But the majority of our students are Glades County students. So we're talking about a very small number, but I wanted to go ahead and put it out there for you all to have. And you know, that's my recommendation, but you're welcome to put me down or whatever.
Okay, and you will, Ms. Carla, you will put this on the presentation on board docs if you're emailing that to all.
And I can share this if you all want me to, I can share this on social media, I don't care.
Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next on is, item 7.4, approval to rescind prior board action authorizing the half-cent sales tax referendum for the November 2026 general election ballot. Motion by Ms. Pierce,
Second,
second by Ms. Straight. Discussion?
I have some comments. Well, first of all, I want to apologize to the board for bringing this item to you without having all the information that I should have had prior to even bringing this up. And I apologize to Carla publicly for all the work she's had to do with the ballot language and things. But during one of the financial emergency board meetings, Dr. Barfield mentioned to that board that we were considering doing the half-cent sales tax. And they immediately brought up the issue of OPAGA, which is the state agency that overlooks taxing authorities. And they said, have you had an OPAGA audit? And we were like deer in the headlights, we didn't know what they were talking about. So I called our attorney out immediately, Dr. Barfield and I together called, because I was like, why didn't our attorney tell us about this? Well, apparently it's a new law that even our attorney wasn't aware of. And Ms. Messina, Andrea Messina at FSBA verified that you must have this review done before imposing new local taxes. Mr. McKinley found out for us that it would be about a $60,000 cost to have the audit done and about a 6-month timeline. So after discussion with Mr. McKinley and Andrea Messina with FSBA, I decided that I could not support that anymore. We also talked about the $1 million that we haven't even brought to the board yet, but I was investigating that, spoke about that with Andrea as well. She suggested that, as Dr. Barfield mentioned earlier, that this whole property tax issue that's gonna be on the ballot in November is gonna be so controversial. And a lot of what we do as a local board is gonna hinge on the outcome of that. And so I've taken the idea of the additional mill out of my mind, not bringing that to you, and I would like to rescind the proposal to add the half-cent sales tax. I am not sorry, though, that we as a board have been learning and investigating about these additional income sources, because the future board will have those two things that are still options for this board to consider. I feel like with our new CFO, we're on a great footing that we may not need additional funding sources going forward. But I think it's good for her to be aware and for the board and the superintendent to be aware that we have two more options. And that is a local half-cent sales tax and also an additional mill that we could add. I am still supporting the flexible funding referendum, and I think that is the only thing that we need to have on the ballot this year. And I do plan to talk about that at the rallies. Since I'm not running again, there's no political fallout for me to be vocal about that. Not that we would worry about that anyway, but I'm very happy to explain it at the rallies, and tell people that it is not a tax increase, because it is not.
Well, anything that we want financially, us as, well, myself, as a contestant I can't advocate for it. That's against the law.
That's why I'm volunteering to go, and I'll be glad to talk about it, because we do want the voters to vote for the
Do we have a
flexible
figure
funding.
of what that would have been for
The
us?
half cent, it was, I had pulled up one figure and it was very small, and then Mr. McKinley thought it was a lot bigger, so I don't have a good,
What do you have an estimate?
my first estimate was 200,000.
Oh, I thought it was around 800.
Well, I think his came closer to that, but I
Okay.
really don't know.
All right, just wondering.
So anyway, I apologize, but I also am glad that we all understand that we do have additional funding income sources available to us in the future should we need to go that route.
Mr. Drake, I would ask, do you want, Carla, or will you reach out? We need to let the county commissioners know, because Mrs. Leatrice has already, she's received word from the county commissioners, because they approved it. So now we have to let them know that we are not moving forward with that. So will you do that, or do you want Carla to do that?
I'll let Carla do that if she doesn't mind, but I don't think we sent the house at sales tax. We did, I know they approved the referendum, but yeah.
So we're not touching, the referendum will still be on there, it's just,
Yes.
yes.
And honestly, I don't know that they need to know, they approved putting it on there for us. But as long as we communicate to Alitris, we don't want it on there anymore.
So
Should
what
be
happened?
okay, but professional courtesy, we should let them know.
I reached out to Leatrice and asked her, and she said we need to let the county commissioners know.
Okay.
So what happened to our impact fees?
They're still, the county is still, working on that, and that won't be a ballot issue. The county commission will decide whether to impose or not.
Being that we can't have one, maybe we can do the other.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure we will get the impact fee.
I think we should, everybody else is going with it, all the bordering counties are.
Yes. And I did get from Andrea something that I'm gonna copy and give the board members, and that is, the 2024 school board referendum results. And there's several counties on here that have the house cent sales, and some that have the 1 mil. So I'm gonna make a copy of this after the meeting to give to you, Dr. Markell, also, so that you can see that there are several counties around the state that are imposing additional taxes. When I look at this, it's mostly larger counties, but I do see a couple little.
But we did do that in Glades County in the past. I know you said you couldn't find it, but I know that we've done it sometime in the last 24 years.
Okay.
Whenever we had projects going.
That's all, Madam Chair.
I do appreciate the financial emergency board, even bringing that up, just so that we know, there's something that you guys aren't aware of, this could be costly to you. So working with, just so the public knows, working with the financial emergency board has been refreshing and exciting, and I'm very appreciative for everything that they have there. 7.4, do we have, all in favor?
Did you ask for a vote? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, moving on to 7.5, approval of errors and omissions, insurance renewal for the Glades County School Board effective July 1st, 2026.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Pierce,
Second.
second by Ms. Drake. Mr. Malay?
Sure, thank you, Madam Chair, Superintendent, members of the board. John Malay, Director of Human Resources. Just a little update, I wish we had something tangible with you. This is something you've approved every year. Just so you know, the current policy that we have in place for this school year is $19,324. That's on average what it runs. It can fluctuate based on student enrollment and number of employees that you have. So in talking with our carrier, we should have the quote, I may get it in the next 10 minutes. We were delayed in being able to process it, waiting on permission with the Florida Emergency Board. They have since said, it's law, you need to do what you need to do, so let's get an application together. They've given us two options, if we don't go on and renew it, and again, I feel certain in talks with her, that it's gonna run in the same range, because it's very prescriptive in what you have to do, and it's very tangible. They've given us two options, one, you can approve it, with the understanding that it will be in that range and it's the same similar. I normally would say you just look at the numbers, it could be a little lower, but as insurance increases, it could go up higher. These types of insurance usually stay similar. But we could approve that today with understanding that it's in that range. If it was significantly higher when we get it, we would wait. If here's the other option they gave us, they could, just like the renters do on apartments, you kind of rent for a year, and then if you need the deadline extended a month, they've given us a quote, which is basically not exactly pro rata a month, but they've said if we need 30 days, they'll charge us like $1,598 and a small surcharge. And we would renew it in July, which would then, as my understanding, would be an 11-month policy. So like the current one could extend 30 days, and then the new one would run one, 11-month policy.
So that fee would equal a monthly payment.
Approximately, I did the math, it was a little different. However, knowing that this has been a trend, and I'll leave it for your discussion, that I do feel confident, barring something, that if that quote came back out of the range of 1% or so of what it has always been, I'd say no, do the extension to 30 days. It's not something, they shop around, we kind of work with, relation to script, all the, they do who they can get the best coverage, so it's not like, it's a real marketable thing, like car insurance, where you might find it a lot cheaper, so, we should have that literally any minute as soon as I get that, so it would be up to your decision if you'd like to continue it at what we feel will be the same rate, or if you would like, that option doesn't happen, we would just tell them 30-day extension and you'll see it in July.
So, Dr. Millay, I know, you've been talking to our current company about a possible claim. Are you feeling, good with the response you're getting from that company? Do you think we should stay with that company based on your conversations about a possible claim?
Yes, they have the, I don't know where it's all gonna go, and we've shared our information with them. They're having someone look at, so that's more of a process, so, we kind of put a stake in the ground saying, hey, we need this looked at. So that's kind of a separate, and anything where that's at, like, that's, even if we change companies, that's a responsibility of who the carrier was at the time. This appears to be, they're gonna send out the quote, it'll be a new relation, but it could be a different carrier. See what I'm saying? So, we kind of take it out of, they shop for us a bit, and.
So we have a broker?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, they.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
I was just curious.
I feel safe.
About, I mean, you don't have any report on that. I know that's a different.
Correct. And I feel it's kind of 6 of one, half dozen of the other, as I'm understanding it. I feel honestly safe having done this myself for decades, having to do it. I really feel like it's gonna be within that. But so I feel comfortable in saying, I think you can approve this through your policy. I also tell you, if we get it today after you've approved it, and they say, and it's several thousand more, I don't know, the superintendent, I would say, hey, we need to do the extension, we need to see what we can do about this. So that's.
So I'm making a motion that we approve you do what needs to be done for us.
Okay. It would be the motion.
In that order that you just described.
Okay, it'd be that motion that we would approve it with the understanding that it's gonna be, very similar to our current amount. And if that amount comes higher, I'll discuss with our finance officer.
And if you come back with a different figure, we're taking it to the table.
We would,
That's
if it was outrageous, we'll bring it before you, we'll say, no, we want the extension, and we'll deal with this in July.
perfect for me.
That needs to be an amendment, because we already had a motion.
She was the one that made the motion and it's just as read.
What do you mean, as per?
I just listed here as.
We would make a motion on that and then if anything came up, I mean, he would bring it back for amendment. Or do you want that read into there?
She made changes to as written. But I don't care. I trust Dr. Millay to do the right thing.
So just so it's clarity, what we would do is like you approve that, we're saying if the amount is about the same as it is, we're going on with it on your approval. If it's if there's a significant difference, we will say, we'll ask the carrier, say, we want a 30-day extension under the minimal fee, and we'll bring it back in July. So we would move forward with approving the policy.
Exactly.
You're good with your motion?
Yes.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
I won't, I'm not gonna bring, this, I just wanna share to you, because I know how much work you all do. And I did a snapshot, because I'm working with our charter schools, this only takes 15 seconds. When you look at what's required, you talk about sports required and the unfunded mandates, in Florida, like for public schools, requirements are, we have workers' compensation policies, we have commercial general liability, we have health insurance, we have automobile policies, abuse, sexual misconduct, those types of policies. Directors and omissions, school leaders errors and omissions, cyber policies, crown policies, umbrella liability policies, student athletics, so there's just a lot, and I appreciate you being prudent with the budgets, and these all have a lot of different stipulations, some run calendar years, some run fiscal years, so as we move forward, we'll try to make sure this, you get plenty of time for it.
It's better to have coverage
Yeah, we're,
and not
Insurance
need-
rich,
than
cash
need
poor.
and not have.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, item 7.6, approval of survey 6.1 facility recommendations for Westlake School as approved by the Florida Department of Education Office of Educational Facilities. Moved by Ms. Pierce. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Luckey, in discussion.
I'm excited about this. It's actually moving forward.
Okay, I did have a couple questions with Mr. Aggressive that I sent in
There
just
he
email.
is.
Man of the hour.
Yes,
So we're on the survey.
survey.
I did email Mr. Aggressive, there were a couple clerical errors with spelling, and he would have that. I asked, does this need to be for the whole district, as it stated, it's just for West Glades, and he said it is just for West Glades. But I just wanted that clarification, and he didn't cover that.
This is a survey that we asked the DOE to do to check on feasibility of us possibly having a need, showing a need for a high school around West Glades area. And what they did is, this is the survey that they did. It did show at this time that we're not showing a definite need for a high school, but they are showing that we have a need for a new building to replace the relocables that are on the property currently, and also some added classroom space. So that's what the survey is for. And it kind of starts a process so that maybe in a couple of years, that we can go back to this and say, well, they already showed they need a building, now maybe they do need a school.
So elementary can have back their space and then we can have the middle school with the new building.
That would be nice, yeah.
Road on,
But
Are we gonna be able to have 2 cafeterias?
they would actually, if they built another building, they would expand the current cafeteria. That would be part of the special facilities funding, they wouldn't have a second one.
The food would be different.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and see, this is still, like I said, down the line, because we still have to do our payback back to the state, which is gonna take several years for us to do before we even ask for special facilities funding. So we're just laying the
Are we
groundwork
still
for
working on
down the
getting
line.
that waived?
We'd love to have that happen, yeah,
It maybe still could be.
I hope so, yeah,
Okay.
that would be nice.
Oh,
Okay, any further discussion? Thank you, Mr. Russell. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Okay, 7.7, approval of resolution and agreement from the HEC for 2026 to 2027 FTE membership dues. Motion by Ms. Pierce,
Second.
second by Ms. Drake, discussion.
very beneficial.
I just am wondering, we normally pay a fee, why is it 0?
The past year, last year, we did not pay a fee, they waived our fee. They waived all district's fees. This year, we're going with what we paid the previous year. Currently, HEC is no longer gonna be based out of, Highlands County. They're moving their fiscal, agent to Okeechobee County.
Wow.
And so, currently, so all the items and all the, legal or legalities that come with being a member of the consortium will be brought back to you probably in maybe December, maybe January, maybe February. But, because once the, fiscal, operations change from Highlands County to Okeechobee County, then all that paperwork has to be redone.
Is their physical location gonna remain in Highlands?
At this time, the physical location is staying in Highlands County at this time. But I wanna remind you, and it might be something that maybe we could have, Donna come and present. I wanna remind you that Glades County, we are partial owners of that building that HEC sits in. So just remember that. Anything that belongs to HEC, that is owned by,
So it's owned by HEC, I thought it was a Collins County School Board building.
it is not.
HEC bought the building?
When HEC was originated, when, I believe Gary Clark was the first superintendent, or was the superintendent when that happened, each district paid a fee, and so that building.
And they purchased the building. Oh, never knew that. Well, I better, I won't move then.
That wasn't the first location. There were several, so I don't think it happened right at the beginning, because the first location was on the main street in Lake Placid.
Until we found the building that we.
Yeah, so I don't know if that was 2, 3, 4 years, but it's on that.
I don't know, all I know is that this is new, all this is new. I don't think anyone, definitely none of the current superintendents have ever gone through anything like this before, and so this is a learning curve for all of us. There's a lot of legalities involved, and I know Donna and her team are doing a phenomenal job trying to learn everything they can. It still has to go before the Okeechobee County School Board to accept it, because let's say Okeechobee School Board says, we don't wanna be the fiscal agents, then they would come to Glades County, or they go to Hendry County, or they go to Hardy.
I can't
I'll find a place.
Yeah,
I can imagine that they would say no, but I'm really glad that they are.
So, Highlands is, they've been a great fiscal agent for many years, and I just think it's time that, because of some situations, they're gonna have to do some things different as well, so.
Well, the good thing is Highlands was centrally located.
Well, good thing for me is Okeechobee's
I get that.
40 miles closer.
Okay, any further discussion?
Very
All in
few times
favor?
I get to say it's closer for us.
All in favor?
I,
All opposed? Motion carries. 7.8, approval of second amendment to the Pimienta and Oaxaca Charter School agreement extending the term through June 30th, 2034.
so moved.
Motion made by Ms. Pierce,
Second.
second by Ms. Drake. Discussion?
Mr. Davis, do you have something you want to say on that?
No, really, this is just, we're just extending the contract since they are now a distinguished charter school, our school of excellence. By statute, they can actually ask for an extension of their contract for up to 15 years. But what they're asking is just to extend it to 2034, which I personally don't see a problem with. But it's just something they want to do rather than wait 2 more years and then just do it now. This contract is just an agreement between our legal people and the Seminole Tribe of Florida, because this is more their legalese way that they.
I just want to speak to the fact of how fortunate we are to have a relationship with them, that we do.
Absolutely.
Because every single conference that I've ever gone to, I've heard about the nightmares the public school systems have with other charter schools. I mean, in their districts. I don't think anyone has this, because they feel like they're taken away. I feel like they're actually adding, because once they go through 8th grade there, then 9th grade, they come here. So it's a win-win.
I agree.
Thank you. Any more conversation? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, 7.9, approval of the trim advertisements to be held July 23rd, 2026 at 4:30 PM, followed by the regularly scheduled school board meeting.
So moved.
Motion made by Ms. Pierce,
Second.
second by Larry. Mr. Lucky, and discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. 7.10, approval to move the Glades County School Board regular meeting and budget workshop scheduled for August 6, 2026 to August 3rd, 2026.
So moved.
Motion made by Ms. Pierce,
Second.
second by Mr. Lucky. Discussion?
I have a question. So the board meeting is gonna be 9, and then we're gonna have the workshop at 5:01 that same day, is that correct? Is that the next one?
Yeah.
So and this is gonna come out in my superintendent comments, but we're doing a district-wide training, and we're providing lunch on August 3rd for all district employees. And that begins at 9 AM and it goes until 3. So we have time to do everything that afternoon. Because if not, we need to change it, not to the 3rd, but maybe to the 4th or the 5th.
Well, I think we have to have the 5:01 workshop that day, right?
Is that not a regularly scheduled?
So you, I guess I can pass these out now, because I didn't think that I was going up for approval, but hey, no words. The Bible says, be ye ready. I was going to hand these out at the workshop. The reason why we had to move the meeting up is because the trim calendar came out. And because the trim calendar has not changed, but a little bit different with the dates. We had to move it from the 4th, it was the 6th, you all had it on the 6th, we had to move it to the 4th. The 2026 trim calendar came out, and now we had to move it to the 3rd. So the count, if you all, we'll have an update on how trim is calculated and how the dates start. The date starts July 1, but now because of the July 1 date, we had to move it up to August the 3rd.
So the workshop has to be held August 3rd.
The workshop has to be held is August the 3rd in order for you all to review it so that we can have the
Here at 5:01.
correct.
So the workshop will be before the hearing. So the workshop that'll be at 3, then, Dr. Barfield, and it looks like we may have to reschedule the meeting.
You don't have to have a workshop, you just need to have the first hearing at 5:01.
We're good at 5:01. It's just, I just know that the entire district will be in training that day. So I'm just saying, previous to that, I don't think, we can be 5:01's fine.
We're just moving everything.
Yeah, let's take a time to
Okay.
It has to be advertised.
So we can't have the board meeting at 9, is what Dr. Barfield was saying.
Correct.
So we have to change the time of the August 3rd board meeting.
Ms. Pierce, can you amend your motion to include the time?
Yes.
Now, so you're not, let me make sure that we understand what Ms. Carla has before us. We are definitely not, for the record, we are not approving public hearing time for this motion. You are only approving your school board meeting to be changed. Those motions will come at a later time for you to approve when those public hearings are. But that's why what Ms. Carla was trying to do is not have you all come back and forth in 2 days and move it back to one day. That's not neither here or there for me. I just don't want us to mix approval of anything related to trim in this motion. Your motion is only being done to move your own meeting.
Our meeting is at 9 AM in the morning, so to make it more feasible, it would make sense to move the meeting to an evening meeting.
5:01 time certain.
I say we move it to an evening meeting. We do the evening meeting beginning at, can we do it 5:30?
Okay, on the 7/10, we're just gonna move our meeting, the whole meeting, from August 6th to August 3rd. That's all that action is.
But it
Doesn't
says
say-
workshop.
doesn't say what time.
Okay,
It
the
says
workshop
meeting
can be
workshop.
short or it can be long. So on August 3rd, we're going to have our trim village, and then after that, we're gonna start our regular meetings, with our budget. If you have we're gonna have a regular meeting, and then after, if the trim meeting announcement stops at 5:15, we'll immediately start our regular meeting. After the regular meeting, if you see that you have to have a budget meeting, you can have a 5-minute budget meeting, you can have a 2-hour one. That's just for the public.
For the 501, that's for the public, that is advertising, that's telling trim, that's a quick,
Right.
it could be quick. If the public has questions, then it could be extended.
And it makes sense to have the workshop prior to that,
Correct.
so that you can tell us, right, a short one, look, here's what you're about to approve, this is why we have these numbers, you know. So for me, I would like to have the workshop at, 4:30,
You have all
hearing
that
at
information
5.
prior to, so you'll have, the only thing that you'll be coming for the public for is to ask me questions, but
Okay,
you'll have,
so we don't need a workshop.
you don't, after I finish
Okay.
this. Meaning, you'll have all of the pertinent information that you would need prior to any, it's just for statute.
And also, you're gonna have the information for the financial emergency board will have it as well, so you'll hear it twice.
So we just need to schedule the meeting then after the hearing.
So I'm going
Correct.
back to approval. I made a motion to approve to move Blaze County School Board regular meeting and budget workshop scheduled for August 6th, 2026 to August 3rd, 2026. Do we have a specific time?
You have to make it at 5:30,
At 5:30.
but you can start anytime after.
I think we can advertise it immediately following.
Right.
That's perfect. Immediately following the regular meeting.
And also though, for that day, keep your calendars open, because like I said, we will be doing, a district-wide activity.
Back to school program, that's what my calendar says.
Are we striking the budget workshop?
Do we get a second?
Amendment, okay, but I'm asking real quick, are we striking the budget workshop?
In the first statement, yes.
So your amendment included that? You want to take it?
Exact. Well, no, because we have to have the budget workshop, but it could be a minute long, she said, so I just said immediately follow.
That's the meeting, immediately following. You said we don't need a budget workshop before that?
She said,
I
yes.
believe that the definition of how your board is carrying the word budget workshop is that budget workshops don't have to be published, like they don't have to be public conversations.
Yeah, they
So I
do.
think that,
Yeah, they do. Yes, ma'am.
okay, well,
It's public
Everything
conversation,
has
it's
to be
just
I
not
mean, it's not
recorded.
public, it's not recorded is what I mean.
Oh, yeah, it's not.
So in that same space, I think that that's why it can be simultaneous, it doesn't have to be split, you can say school, you can say board meeting and budget workshop, and then the two in together means that it's not recorded.
Which I did.
Amended by Ms. Pierce, second.
All in favor?
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm drawing a blank, what do I do now? I make a,
It's done. You want to make some?
okay, so moving on, 7.11 is going to be our approval of public hearing to adopt millage and tentative budget on August 3rd, 2026 at 5:01 p.m., followed by regular school board meeting.
Again, your motion cannot be about the meeting or village. It can only be to approve the change in your school board meeting.
Say that again?
Aye.
So your approval, because we haven't went over, so because the approval happens at the next meeting that you have to talk about, because all of that has to be published and all of that, what you would be doing now is counterintuitive, the rule that says that you have to bring it up for approval after the fact. So right now, because you're in June, you can't bring it up when you're going to have a tentative public meeting right now, because it's not on the
And that
calendar.
meeting
So-
that we changed to is where we discussed this.
Right,
So let's strike this from the,
you don't have to strike it, because the motion should be that you're just changing your school board, your
Meeting
school board
period,
meeting to
and
be in
don't-
alignment with the
don't
tentative meeting.
include the adopted millage or the budget.
So we don't make that motion at all.
You need the motion because you want, apparently, the meeting was just trying to not, for you all not to come back twice and to move your regular school board meetings to be in alignment with the tentative public meeting that you will have to talk about millage.
And we just did that in the previous thing. We
For the
changed
August,
the
for the
school
August one, right, so now what Ms. Collins is trying to do is move the other meeting to September 10th instead of what you already have on your calendar.
But this has to be at 5:01. So we do need this motion so that we are here for that meeting at 5:01.
But you're not.
Just said we
So
can't do that
your
right now.
motion is only to move your school board meeting to another date and another time, that's it.
We just did that. We've already done that.
You did it for August the 3rd, so the same motion, and just change the dates at the same time. So
So we-
like you said, immediately following the tentative meeting.
Okay, Dr. Murphy, would you like to pull this from the agenda then?
No, it's the September meeting, right?
No, we're on 7/11 for August 3rd. Millage and budget.
Yeah.
That's the August meeting.
So she's saying we don't need to.
Yeah, you don't. There's specific, we'll talk about this in the budget workshop, but there's specific language that goes with how we count dates and how we go to approve those dates. And we will be out of alignment with what the Department of Revenue says, regardless of how we conduct ourselves. Hey, I'm here, DOR says that we need to conduct ourselves a little bit different. So this is me trying to say, the only thing that we should be doing today is moving those dates to be in alignment with whatever those tentative dates will be. Because if you never were to change those dates, you would literally just have to come here twice.
Which I already did in my motion prior to this one. So this one right here is you're making a motion to remove 7.3 or 7.11.
Dr. Barker, are you pulling this one up? Okay, 7/11 is pulled by Dr. Barfield. Moving on to 7.12. 7.12, approved to move the Glades County School Board regular meeting budget workshop scheduled for September 10th through September 8th, 2026.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Pierce,
Second.
second by Mr. Lucky. Discussion.
Time.
So this is not a 9 o'clock meeting anymore?
We have to do that other stuff with it and cannot be done until after 5.
Okay, so we need to include the time so that it's, included.
So what time?
5:01.
See what I did is I'm moving the meeting, and then the next meeting, I'm telling the time of all that's gonna happen. That's why there's 2 different lines for each one.
So keep that the way it is because the next motion is what?
All right, motion was made by Ms. Pierce and seconded by Mr. Lucky. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. 7:13, approval of final budget hearing and final millage rate to be held September 8th, 2026 at 5:01, followed by a regular school board meeting.
So moved.
Motion moved by Ms. Pierce.
No. No.
That's what I'm saying.
No, the only thing that you'll be doing on this action item is moving your meeting I'm sorry,
So
July the
7-11
23rd.
and 7-13 need to be pulled.
This is 7-13.
your meeting for July the 23rd is when you'll set all of those millage dates to be in alignment with your advertisement. You can't do that now, so the only thing that you're right now doing is changing the dates for your meetings because Ms. Carla is trying not for you all to have to come twice.
This is
So
what's.
take the
Okay,
word
so-
millage out of everything moving forward for the next meetings, because the only thing you're doing is changing your meeting dates.
Dr. Barfield, would you like to pull this as well? But we need to go back to 7-12 and amend that to include the time.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay?
So I'm making a motion to amend the motion that I made for 7-12 approval to move the Blaze County School Board regular meeting workshop scheduled for September 10th to September 8th. To include the time of
Immediately following. You can say immediately following.
immediately following.
Hang on. It's
Or you can
nine-
say
it's a
5:30.
9 AM meeting, so we're
5:15.
changing the
Oh, I'm
time.
sorry.
Just say 5:15.
I didn't mean to tell you.
You can say 5:15.
Okay,
So do you.
we wanna keep this,
Kosher.
right, with our meeting times.
I will be reading these minutes carefully.
I'm sure Ricardo's gonna make us a new calendar and that's gonna explain it all, so it's okay.
Ms. Carlin, you good?
I'm gonna have to watch the tape.
So your motion reads 5:15, Ms. Carla, is that time?
That's what I'll put now.
I need a second.
Okay. Amendment was made by Ms. Pierce, do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. Amendment was to, on 7-12, to approve the Glades County School Board regular meeting budget workshop scheduled for September 10th to September 8th at 5:15 PM. 7-13 has been pulled by Dr. Barfield. General public comments, 8.1.
None.
We have none. Moving on to superintendent's report.
Could I make a comment about that, just because I want to muddy the water up even more? On our previous schedule, we were having a board meeting at 9, like we're doing today, and we were having a budget workshop at 1 o'clock. These motions are not separating, but I think we, as long as we advertise it like it's on here, meeting/budget workshop, we can have our meeting and then follow the meeting with the budget workshop, immediately following the meeting. Does that make sense? Because before, we had 9 and 1 o'clock. Now we've got 5:15, period.
And do you know why we did that? Because
Yes, but I'm
she
saying,
explained to us to read it this way so that we won't have to go and re-advertise.
right, I understand that, but we normally have a meeting and then a workshop.
I didn't change that.
Right. We didn't schedule a meeting and a workshop. We scheduled a meeting/workshop, which
Yeah,
is fine.
I didn't change anything. The only
Yeah.
thing that I think that what the team or the administrative staff was trying to do was accommodate the board members so they didn't have to come 2 separate days because our trim days cannot be changed.
Right.
As far as I'm concerned, I would love to see you all. So it wouldn't matter if I saw you today and tomorrow. It really wouldn't. I mean, it's just the rules that apply. So I think that it's a level of, although confusion, it is trying to make sure that you're convenienced and not inconvenienced with having to drive and be here for 15 minutes. Cause that would just be a public meeting and you can get actual work done, potentially.
Ms. Carla will make sure that's on all of our
Thank you.
schedules.
I will.
And the district website that has our district calendar where we go to look at things.
Sure.
And so you'll know also, after you approve these dates, that calendar, potentially, that public calendar that will be published, but it won't be an approval of those dates, it'll just be your public calendar being changed to accommodate the trim calendar that will be published in July.
Did you understand what I was, the point I was making? Okay, and you'll make sure that we adjourn the meeting and then start the workshop. Okay.
Okay, Dr. Barfield?
Okay, I'd like to request that my comments be held till last.
No.
Well, it is last now.
Okay, so Dr. Barfield will be held after board member comments. Moving to board member comments, Mr. Lucky,
No,
Ms. Pierce, Ms. Drake.
I do have one comment. Dr. Barfield and I attended the Wink News, event at the Gold Honor. And we talked about, our IRS issue with them. And I subsequently received a call from Senator Scott's office. And they are also going to work on the issue with us as well. Wink News called them.
I saw that. You shared it with us. Interesting.
Oh, did I email it to you? Oh, okay, good deal. Okay.
And they're answering and replying and back and forth, so
Oh,
I was really excited to see all that.
Good deal, yeah, they, and they asked to do a letter because they're gonna put it through a different channel than normal IRS issues, so that we could
Have our own space.
get quicker and better results.
I just need to run in there with everybody else.
Yes.
Perfect.
can, while it's your turn,
Mhm.
can you comment on that, any more about that community event with the newspaper?
How'd it go?
Yeah, I was
Oh, okay.
out of country.
Oh, okay, yeah, your dad was the star, by the way, of that whole.
You know how I found out about it? It was Father's Day, and I went to Sunday school at my church, and then I drove across town to go to his church to be with him at Father's Day, and that was said from the pulpit, and I'm like, what happened?
They realized that we came in the door with Dr. Barfield and I, and they were looking for people that had hurricane information, hurricane victim information. And we immediately hooked him up with that girl, and she put him behind the camera. When they're doing a special, and I guarantee you, Larry Lucky Senior is gonna be the
I
star.
think that's 100%.
Yeah. He sat there for, gosh, an hour. You
He
probably gave him more information.
I would,
He suddenly
I'm
became
highly
very,
interested in watching it for more than one reason, but he's legally, so,
Well, he didn't,
well, I mean, like, the percentage, and he can read lips really well. So,
we did it. They were very receptive to our issue, and apparently, they got right on it, and I apologized to Senator Scott's office. I'm like, I'm so sorry, you know, because I felt like maybe Wink News was trying to make a big issue out of it or something. And they said, oh no, they call us all the time, no big deal, we just want to help you. So we sent them all the timeline of what happened, and I feel very good that, you know, that, I wish we did it back this fiscal year, but probably not gonna happen that quick, but anyway. I feel good about it.
thank you, Mr. Baker.
That's all I have.
I do have a couple things. First off, I see where other school boards have common policy practice of, putting RFPs out for board attorneys. And I would like to question the board on your, thoughts about putting an RFP for, the school board attorney, just to make sure that we are doing our fiduciary duties and making sure we're doing what's best for the board.
What were those initials you were just using?
RFP.
What?
Proposal, request for,
To see if we can get,
Thank you, request for,
someone at a lesser.
he's half the price of all the rest. He served us for many years, my opinion.
I would like to see us put out the RFP.
I as well, and it's not, you know, whether he does a good job or not, I just wanna look at what we're spending and make sure that we are doing what's best for.
We would have to spend everything we paid him just to catch a new attorney up. In hours, he can't walk in the door and know everything that Mr. McKinley's learned in the last 15 years. It's just silly. That's like We have an opponent. He's doing a good job, he needs to stay there.
So if we found someone that had experience and cost less, you would be opposed to that?
He might cost less, but
But have the same experience?
he's gonna have to spend a lot of time catching up to where we are today.
So you wouldn't even be interested in looking around?
Not until this one got it, I mean, we could look for someone
we do have a-
to replace him if there's a problem or replacement.
And
I'm
this,
not looking at changing him now.
and this is just putting RFP out, you know, just questioning, we do have 3 that are looking for
That's
it.
fine, I
So
mean,
this is just giving Dr. Barfield the guidance to, you know, that's just what we wanna look at, we wanna make sure that we're doing what's best for the district.
I can see, absolutely, I understand, looking for a replacement. Or
No,
someone who could replace him. But I'm not looking to replace him at this time.
okay. All right, so, Dr. Barfield, if you could look in for that am I saying that right?
RFP.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and also, I want us to look into policy to make sure, is this something we want to make a common practice to do every 5 years, just to put out there? I personally think it would make our attorneys want to make sure that they're doing the best on their financial requests from us and what we are working on. And so if that's common practice for us to do every 5 years, 4 years, I don't know, I'm asking you.
Well, can I just say that if we're gonna do the attorney, I think we also need to do the bank.
Okay.
Definitely.
And I think we have done that, but we didn't get the
We never
response,
got any
correct?
report.
To be honest with you, I wasn't, I know the board discussed that, but I think with our new CFO and her experience, I feel very confident with her, her knowledge of that subject. So I would like to, since we're gonna do the RFP, or if we're gonna do it on the attorney, let's go ahead and do the bank as well.
Okay. And then would we make that a common practice to do the RFP every so many years?
I think there's statute that states that it has to be done so often, and I can follow up and I will email you all, please don't respond as always. I feel bad when I email you and I say, please don't respond to this, but
We get it.
I know you do, but I feel like I'm like, telling, I don't think that you will, but I just,
You have to do that.
I know, but please know, I'm not doubting your expertise or knowledge. I'm just, for my sake, please don't respond to my emails as a group. You are welcome to individually email me. But Ms. Murray, I'll be working with you and we'll get together, we'll get with statute and we'll send the board an email. Is that okay?
That's perfect.
Thank you.
Okay. And then, as well for policy and making
Yes,
sure.
ma'am. And I'll make sure I'll provide the statute and all that.
And add it into our policy.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question for finance. I did receive a couple questions about payroll. And, I'm trying to be as transparent across that everybody can be. And if you don't mind, there was a question that I was asked about, food service summer workers and their pay. And I know I received an email that was sent to everybody. I'm not trying to single out anyone specifically, but I do want to make sure that we're holding accountability and that things are moving smoothly and not continuing to happen year after year.
Wait, hold on, before she answers, an email was sent out to who?
So the payroll schedule, you guys did send that out, so I knew that maybe you understood there was a discrepancy. And so that moving forward, there's,
The payroll schedule and the food service workers are two different things. I sent the payroll schedule as an information item to all the district team, just to create a level of transparency, information before they start. A lot of people wanna know when I'm going to get paid because they're trying to budget for all the things, weekends, holidays, all the things, so they got that. The food service worker challenge is a little bit different because there was a communication breakdown between food service and the administrative function in the district office. Ultimately, so everybody knows, I started May the 11th and I saw some differences that caused disdain for finance. If there's paperwork that is not received in the time that makes it efficient to make sure that from cradle to grave, people receive payment. We cannot continue to work in a function that says, oh, here's the paperwork now, go ahead and do it, because that creates manual entry errors. So, with the help of Dr. Malay, Maria, Melinda, what we've done is, if you don't get your paperwork in enough time, that is what we consider now, you have to get paid on the off cycle. The on cycle is a regular, everything is in, you get paid on the 15th or the 30th. After that, if your paperwork is not where it should be by the time you receive pay, what we're calling an off cycle pay. That means that you get paid the payment after the regular pay period. Nicole, why are we doing that? Because technically, an off cycle is everything outside of your normal payroll. So why do we do that? Hey, Nicole, CFO Murray, what is our normal run rate for payroll? Oftentimes, everything that's on a regular payroll is included if you ask me that information, and it shouldn't be. The only thing that should be included in a regular pay cycle is regular pay. So if you didn't get to that information, we didn't get that information in a timely manner, we received the timesheet and no personnel action forms at the date that they should have been received. So they will make the off cycle, which means that they'll get paid after the payroll runs. Now, I have communicated that to those individuals that had the breakdown in communication. So I hope that as we continue to navigate to better transparent waters, we get to a space where everybody is in alignment with what needs to happen on the district level, so that no one feels like they can just push paperwork to a team member and then we become transactional, hurry, do it because I said it needs to be done, because that's not efficient. And we need to continue, we need to speak in the space that says that we need to be more efficient and hold those individuals accountable. And as a CFO, I've done that, but that's why those individuals did not receive pay or won't receive pay on 6/30. They'll receive pay the week of July 7th.
And just for your information, I'm not sure if you know this or not, this happened last year as well.
Right, but I don't think it was pushed up to the chain of command in order to know that that individual needed to be held accountable for what he did not know. And now that it's happening, and I don't foresee that happening anymore, but if so, they'll just have to be held accountable from the superintendent.
She's being proactive instead of.
And I realize that, and I wanna just make sure that it's transparent,
absolutely.
because if somebody says
It should be on
something, it is
I agree.
completely covered, and there is, I want, our food service ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, they are out there every single weekday hustling in this hot sun to make sure that our students get, summer food service to them in our different communities. They are serving breakfast and lunch at our schools for our summer school, as well as serving breakfast and lunch at Crossing Kids Summer Camp. These ladies are hustling, they're doing great, and I love that they choose Glades County. They did not, they have other options, but the fact that they choose us, we wanna make sure that they know how much we appreciate them.
And I also wanted to let that individual know, so that people, I didn't want it to be a secret that no one knew, so that when June 30th came up, they would be looking for something, right? So I wanted to let them know, to say, hey, go ahead and let them know that because they missed the dates, this is their next pay cycle. Not because we want it to be difficult, but because there's a lot of manual entry that's done. Whenever there's a lot of manual entry that's done that causes mistakes. And the reason why it's causing mistakes is because paperwork isn't received in a timely manner. So that's it.
And just our workers get paid 24 payments, so they will receive a check on the 30th for their contract.
Food service.
Correct, they just won't receive the food service until off cycle date, and which will be between.
I appreciate both of you answering those questions for me and making sure that everybody is comfortable and understanding and knowing that this is a mistake that's happened and it will be taken care of.
Right, Dr. Rockfield has already addressed that with that individual, and hopefully moving forward, we won't have that dilemma anymore.
Thank you ladies so much. In the past, Dr. Barfield has provided us an umbrella of district, what's the word I'm trying to say? directors and admin,
Yes.
I'm drawing a blank, what is the word?
We don't know what you're saying.
I
so I don't know how to help.
I'm looking at
Organizational chart.
An organizational.
organizational chart.
Okay.
So, yes, and are you asking if you're gonna receive one?
Can we get an update?
So, actually, we, Dr. Malay, just sent one out to, principals that lists every director, every, district, that works in the district, and what they actually do. He sent it to them, I asked my directors to go through, to confirm that what they, then I said, then I'm gonna send it to the board, I'm gonna put it out to the public. If you have a question about a 504 situation, this is who you call. If you have a question about a facilities question, this is who you call. But before I sent it to you all, because I knew that, you know, that you obviously want to call the right person, that it was corrected, and, we already had a very small little change, and it should, I probably should have it to you probably this afternoon. It's a very extensive, excellently done.
I bring that up because Mr. Malay has given me Martin County's board, guidelines,
Yes.
and it is so refreshing. I think I've learned more on this guidelines than I have the FSBA sometimes. So, just the clarity that is available right there, and working on having this available by November when we, have board members needing this. It's helpful it's been very helpful. So I want this to be available for our district and,
The handbook?
yes, ma'am, made directly for us with our information.
If there's anything I can do, I'll be glad to, it's your document, but if there's something that you wanna sit down with myself and, Dr. Malay, or if you wanna share it with the board and then have you all discuss what would be the best way to move forward. It's not my document, so I don't,
I think she wanted it to be available for no employees.
Well, I will ask Dr. Malay to share this document with you all so that we can all look through it. And I've highlighted things that, just geared towards Martin County. But
are you,
How many pages is it?
Ms. Clemens, I apologize, are you talking about the,
What is the document?
No, I was talking about the umbrella, but I brought that up because of what I'm looking at for,
but the Martin County document, is that for new school board members?
yes.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying, that is this is your document, but if you all want to share and talk about it, if there's something that you wanna add to it, Dr. Malay would be, he would be great to work with.
Have him share them
That's
with
what I
each
was
one of
saying.
us so we can look at it.
That's exactly what I just said, that I will have him email that document to everyone.
Or you can give it
So
to Barbara and she can scan and email it to us.
It's 100 pages, 95 pages.
Okay.
Dr. Malay does have it, and he was very happy to work with me in making sure that we get this document going.
Yes, thank you.
So is that what you've been talking about, our protocol? You wanna incorporate theirs to ours, or, because we still haven't scheduled a workshop to do that. And I know you've been asking for us for 2 years.
I have.
Well, election time's coming up and it could be potentially two new board members.
Well, and it would be great to have it ready for them.
Exactly.
Yes. And my goal is to have that available.
So we need
And
to
all I'm
have a
saying
workshop.
is, please hear me, I want you to understand.
I hear you that you're.
I can't put it together, I will help you and facilitate it, right, I will facilitate it, and I am 100% for us doing this, so whatever I can do
I know.
to help, I will do, and if you need me to do something, if you need me to reach out, or whatever, just let me know. If you want me to schedule a meeting at a workshop to work on this, I'll do that as well. All I'm saying is, just tell me what you all want me to do.
That's what we need a workshop to work on.
Absolutely.
I also want to throw this out there. I want to take a moment to recognize several groups that deserve our appreciation. I did bring out the summer work ladies that are doing the food feeding program. They're in all corners of our community. When I tell you, I went volunteered to help hand out in Buckhead, here in Moorhaven, at Washington Park. Also went and helped our food service do lunch at Frosty Kids. Let me tell you what. She was by herself. It was 130 some kids, and we were like robots. It was so, I told her, any day you need help, you call me, and if I can't come, I'll see what I can do to change my plans, because it was amazing watching how awesome that was, that she quickly was and efficient. I mean, it was amazing to see. So when you do see these ladies, please give them your appreciation of how hard they're working in the hot. I mean, they are drenched in sweat, working to provide. Our district staff, I see several of you in here this morning. It is so refreshing, the communication that you all are having, and that when we call and we have questions, you don't feel attacked, you appreciate the questions. Sometimes I feel bad calling and asking you because you're like, oh, this again, you know. It hasn't been that, and I am very thankful. The work ethic and communication I've witnessed is truly refreshing. Thank you for everything you're pouring into this district, and we're moving from surviving to thriving, and that starts with you all. Thank you very much. To our school principals and administrative staff, great job. All school supply and dress code information is already out in the community, so parents that are buying their school supplies and clothes, they know there's no gray lines. This is what is available or allowed at school, and this is what will not be tolerated at school this year. So I appreciate our principals and their admin on getting that information out to the public as fast as they have. And it looks so pretty. I don't think I've ever seen school supply lists that pretty. I'm sorry. Okay, I wanna make sure the community is aware of a few things. The school does start back for students on August 10th. So start getting routines ready. I know my 5-year-old is so excited to go to kindergarten, but I am not excited about him having to wake up in the morning and get dressed, because it's gonna be a challenge and it's already facing those issues. So that's gonna be exciting. We're gonna have back to school bashes. I know that we'll have one here in Moorhaven, as well as the Christ Central and LaBelle will hold one for Henry Glades. That will be August 8th from 8 to noon in LaBelle. I don't have the date and time for the one here in Moorhaven, but I will make sure that when I get that, we pass it out to everyone. For those celebrating the 4th of July, the Star Spangled Spectacular is at the Chalanika Park next weekend for 4th of July. Anyone interested in entering their rib cooking contest or the cornhole contest, that will be at the Chalanika Park, and I'd love to see everyone there. It is a family day for all. If you or someone you know is interested in starting a business, it doesn't have to be just here in Glades County, but if you are interested in starting a business, July 8th, we will be having a Smart Starts workshop with the SBDC here in Moorhaven at the Economic Development Council. So I've made sure that it goes out to our ITech, anyone that is working with students that are interested in starting a business. This gives them the platform to get started and any information they will need to be successful and sustainable. And finally, I want to share with the public that we are actively working with the state, with the Financial Emergency Board. We did say that before, but I personally want to say how thankful I am for their guidance. I mean, I was very scared and shocked whenever we were told we were gonna be working with the state. You know, I didn't know what that looked like. But from my good viewpoint of it, everything has been very helpful. I'm very thankful that they have, Ms. Murray, you were directed or given advice to attend a conference. That was so helpful and beneficial for you. We may not have known about that if it wasn't for them. The help that they've given our district and the guidance, I want the public to know it's refreshing, welcomed, and appreciated. It is not, I've had people come to me a couple of times and be like, how embarrassing is this? Well, it may be embarrassing for you that we're in this situation, but I will tell you that we're working very hard to get out of that. The district staff has been very wowing to me on how hard they are pulling us out of this hole from surviving to thriving. I want you to know that I appreciate it and that the state is an appreciated and welcomed guest here. I think that's all. I do probably have more, but I can't remember.
I'm not embarrassed.
I'm not
We
either
had
because I remember
no
part
way
of
of
it,
knowing that we were gonna have a decline of 400 students.
or that the amount
And that
rate.
several districts are in the same situation. So public school has been the fire line under attack
I do have one more thing.
always.
Dr. Barfield, I probably should have asked you this before I brought it up now, but we do have new teachers coming in, and in the past, they've done I think it's like a community tour or something, they would go and I would like to work with you on doing something like that again.
we have Q-tips, and I can work with you, absolutely, thank you. I will let Ms. Mullins know. She's actually overseeing our Q-tips program this year, but I know, and that was actually part of my superintendent's report, that we have a Q-tips day for at the first the Methodist Church in Warhaven on July the 28th. No, I'm sorry, July 27th, I do apologize.
Yes.
At 8 o'clock. Ms. Mullins, are you correct, 8 o'clock for breakfast?
8 to 10.
So board members are invited to attend, and we'll be meeting all the, there's not that many teachers, but for the ones we have, we want to welcome them and introduce them to Glades County, and hopefully they can definitely.
The church does the breakfast.
For over 40 years.
Okay.
You have the floor.
I do, thank you so much, Sonia, I appreciate that. And first off, I'd like to start my comments by congratulating you. You were unopposed, so congratulations for 4 years. Looking forward to working with you for more years, and that is a testament to your dedication to our school board, so congratulations, and looking forward to the next 4 years. Okay, I do have a couple things, for everyone that's here, if you are in from the public, or if you are staff or board members. There are stacks in front of me. You can see the, you're welcome to look at these. Please don't take them because I keep them for my records. But I say, of course, I'm one of the people that print everything out, so I'm part of the problem of why our printer, yeah. But you can view the correspondence that I had with all staff, district and school sites about the budget of the athletics. Also, I put on here a copy of all of the, and I just chose one of the clubs, which was the FFA, and this is from 2022, 2023. You can see how this, because a lot of people don't know how that works. How, what does it look like when money comes in, money goes out? I've included that. And you can see, who gets paid, how they got paid. The next stat is I included the actual invoices from the Greater Naples Officials Association, which that's the official association that we use. And you can see where I went through every single one of them and wrote down, you can see these were my working papers, but I wanted the public to be able to see that. And the final one is I requested from the high school their deposits and everything that they had from each club. So you're welcome to go through and see this. That's where I was able to pull like when the Booster Club made a contribution. And once again, I want to state that was what we had in our records. If the Booster Club, I have requested an email from I have sent 2 emails now to the Booster Club requesting a meeting, and that if they would provide me with what financial, incentives they have given to our clubs, because I agree with Mr. Lucky. If we don't know it, we can't thank them, and they should not be going through the coaches. And we have changed that procedure.
We also have policy, correct?
Absolutely. But remember, the Booster Club is a completely different entity than the school district. It is not run through our books, so we have no transactions.
But there needs to be a procedure at the receiving level of what to do so that we know,
Yeah, absolutely.
regardless.
Okay, I'm going to be, after our meeting today, I'm going to be passing these out. I'm gonna give you each probably 20 copies of these and possibly a bright colored paper. I want every teacher and staff member on August 3rd to receive a calendar with a quote or a scripture or something to, just when they see it, it can be a special day. Please hand these out and have them return these to me, because I've received quite a bit, but I don't have 365 yet. And I think there was some confusion about how do you reserve a date, or it doesn't cost anything. It's just a nice, a pick-me-up for our district employees. And it would say, like, for example, I want December 8th, and I put my favorite scripture, so that when they see it, they can say, oh, look at Mark Phillip.
Does it have to be a scripture?
Board Member Drake isn't sure what this is pertaining to.
This is the 365 days of encouragement. It's a calendar. I sent an email out to everyone explaining it.
It was a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Did you get it? Larry, did you get that?
I'm behind, so.
I don't know what she's talking about. My
I got
email's all
it.
been read.
Okay, so I do apologize. I'll go back and resend it, but I will explain. All it is I want us to create a calendar for our employees, for all district employees that we give them on August 3rd. All it will say is, all I'm asking is for you to tell me the date you want, the name you wanna put on it, and a favorite quote, scripture, saying, or words of encouragement for our district employees.
So this is a
Great.
tangible,
It's something they can have on their desk, they can keep it in their drawer, they can put it in their car, it doesn't matter, but like, for example, it would say, December 8th, it would say, you know, I don't know, my favorite scripture, and then it would say, Dr. Beth Barfield. And it just lets them know that people in our community are praying for them, or thinking of them, that's all it is, it does not cost anything, so I will be, after our booster close, after our budget meeting, I will provide that to you. Just to let you all know that thank you to Miss Melinda and her department. I am certified until 2031. So, just to let you know, I am certified in ESOL, educational leadership, school principal, elementary education, primary education, and I'm sitting for my 2 more tests. I'm sitting for ESE as well as another one, and I cannot think what it is right now, but I signed up for it, I'm gonna take the test, so I can't remember what it was, but anyway, I just wanted you all to know that. In all this, and I will leave this up here, I also asked for an accounting of the cheerleading fund. I want you to see what the cheerleaders raise and how much they pay, because it is a lot of money. It was not on my presentation, because I didn't get information until later. But if you're interested, I want everyone to be able to look at these figures as well. Since we've been sitting here, I have received a text from Paul Carlisle. I almost am afraid to say this out loud. They are going to be closing the LaBelle Bridge it could be an extended period of time. I'm been asked to call him, and he will give me directives.
today, tomorrow, what are we talking about?
Supposedly, I wrote, they said at least for 2 weeks. There is gonna be a weight limit as well. They're waiting on confirmation from the Department of Transportation. They are planning complete closure for the LaBelle Bridge. I responded, when will they begin? Supposed to be after the 4th of July weekend, and then this was from Bailey. Paul might have more information for you. If I find out more, I'll let you know, and I said I'll call him this afternoon. I'm currently in a school board meeting, and she said yes, ma'am. So as soon as I know anything, I will let you know as well, but hopefully that's the last of
They can finish before school starts.
yes, 100, yes. Okay, and Carla is gonna be giving you a packet. I have included, there's some new, these are technical assistant papers. The state has changed quite a bit about promotion to 4th grade. There's quite a few literacy updates that have happened within the legislative branch. There is a new excused absence for a religious instructional holiday. There is a new House Bill 753, which talks on school counselors. What I've done is I've gone through and I've asked Carla to provide you with all the technical assistant papers. I think it's really important, and I've not done a good job as a superintendent of providing you. I receive these, and then I talk to my department, my directors and my principals, but oftentimes I have not brought that to the board, and I do apologize. in my day-to-day operations, it just gets done. So I'm going to start bringing these to you. So when you see this, you can see the makeup and what they look like. But they're pretty extensive. It's a lot of reading, but to stay informed, it's something I feel like you need to be aware of. So I will be providing those to you. I'm asking for permission. I have been invited to go out to the National Forum to Advance Rural Education, October 19th through the 21st in San Antonio. I will be paying for it with my pocket, my plane trip. However, I'm just letting you know that I will be out of state and that Mr. Gresseth will be sitting in my place for my absence out of state. But that will be, I'm actually giving a presentation about the school district and how we completely went from a failing district to now one of the top districts in the state.
October 9th, you said?
Actually, October 19th through 21st, and I would like to invite any school board member that would like to attend with me. I would love to have you go with me, and be there for my presentation and to also add any commentary
Where
as
is
I
that?
present. It is in San Antonio.
Maybe I wanna go.
Alright. I also want to, let you know that, thank you, Ms. Clemens, for bringing up about the food distribution. Our food service workers have done a great job. I did send out an email to all constitutional officers, also you received one. If any of you would like to attend a disbursement of the food, you are welcome to attend anytime. The only thing I ask is that you do not take pictures of any students receiving food or any families. I'm not that person. I don't believe that if you're giving out food, that it's for publicity purposes. So if you attend, I ask that you just do not take, pictures.
And bring you some water.
Yes. Actually, speaking of water, that was why Miss Melinda came up to me in the middle of the meeting. So I guess in conversations with Mr. Wilson, Marty Milky was here, who is Senator Grawl's, what is her title? It's her aide, basically. And in the conversation was, Miss Milky made sure from Senator Grawl that our ladies had water. So we had a huge shipment of water donated by Senator Grawl and Miss Milky. So make sure that if you get a chance, Mr. Thomas?
He also bought them a tent to stand under.
That is.
So we will be sending out a thank you note, because that was very kind of them to do that. So, and I also, let Ms. Milky know, that we appreciate, everything that Senator Grawl and, Representative Tuck have done for us. They have been champions for Glades County. And I will tell you this was told to me at my FADS meeting, that Senator Grawl's #1 legislative importance was Glades County School District, getting us that appropriation. So huge thank you to Senator Grawl. And if board members, if you can, send her an email, call her, but just let her know that, I think what people don't understand is what that process looks like. And I know a lot of people, not a lot of people, I shouldn't say a lot of people, there were several people in the community that asked why I was Dr. Garfield going to Tallahassee a lot. Why I was going up there one time a month or twice a month. The reason I go up there is because if you want appropriations, you have to have a good relationship. Ms. Murray can tell you that being in Tallahassee, that there are a lot of things that happen in Tallahassee, they don't take place in the chambers and the halls. It takes place outside, and that's what I was doing, and that fighting for those appropriations. They don't hand out millions of dollars just because, your name's on the list. So if possible, please, and I'd like to, in our budget meeting, bring up something for, what I'd like to do for Senator Grawl and Representative Tuck, because, it's a huge win for Glades County to have both of those ladies representing us.
Yes. Are we gonna take a break before we?
Yes, I only got a few more
Are we
things.
gonna order food or something?
Q-tips will be, The 27th and 28th is our new teachers, but I ask that you at least come to the Q-Tips Methodist Church breakfast. We have, I try to keep you abreast of my comings and goings. I'm always here. For some reason, my email, we don't know why it happened. It says I'm out of the office, so when people email me, it says she's out of the office.
Did anybody else notice that?
Yes, it was, but we
Okay.
don't know,
It's a nice call.
how that happened, because I was in the office, but I'm always in the office. But, I will not be in the office tomorrow. Governor DeSantis also gave, state workers, off for July 2nd, July 3rd, and July 6th. And because I feel like our local employees are, even though they're not state employees, I think they're doing an amazing job, and I think they deserve it as well. I also gave them off the same holiday. And, that is really all I have, unless you have any other questions. I'm like Miss, Clemmie, I feel like there's probably 1,000 other things, but, as always, I'm always available. I will tell you that since my little situation, I am, leaving the office every day, around 5-ish. Unless I can get more time out of him, but, Dr. Malay has been amazing. He lives near me, and we continue working for about 25 more minutes on the way home and on the way to school. But I am not staying late hours unless, there's something special. And, however, with that being said, I am always accessible through phone, through email. If you want me to meet late at night, I can be here. And that goes for the public as well. And, I was a little, not disappointed, but I thought we would have more people at the meeting, because I really felt like through Facebook, there was a lot of conversation. But often, a lot of things happen on Facebook, and people don't wanna come to the meetings, because I really do feel like we make our best decisions when we hear, all different, opinions involved. So hopefully we can find ways to increase our work, participation. And that is all I have.
That's enough.
Does any board members have any questions, comments?
And I'll leave these up here for everyone to see. And I will also get working, Miss Marie and I will start first thing Monday morning, because I will not be here tomorrow, and I believe she has to be out of the office as well. But we'll get Monday morning working on the RFQs for banking and attorneys.
RFP.
RFP is for,
For quote, RFQ is quote, P is.
Q is for qualifications, P is for
Q is for quote.
quote.
Dr. Barfield, I would like the public to know that because of our new CFO and her work, that we are scheduled tentatively to end this fiscal year in compliance with the state mandate and with our local board policy mandate. I have shared that with some people in the public, but I think it's something that I'm very proud of. And not only our new CFO, but our entire finance department, Mr. Raylaw, everybody I'm very proud of the work that we have all been able to accomplish. And I think that the training our new CFO is receiving from the emergency board is the absolute best training that any new CFO to a school district could receive. So I feel like it was God's timing, the way everything worked together for her to get access for 3 of the best CFOs in the state of Florida to individually train her and all of us on the nuances and the changes. School finance is so complicated for all of us to wrap our brains around, and as we all know, every legislative session for the past 5 or 6 years, there's been a change, a tweak. So about the time you think you got it figured out, you know, there's something new, and I'm just, and I'm proud of the public support also that we've received. I mean, I feel like our constituents have been very understanding and very patient with us, and I'm so proud of the way we're gonna end this fiscal year.
So I wanna say this and to what you said, and then I know everybody's ready to go take a little break, but I wanna say this, that, and I know this is being recorded, and I know the public watches, and I encourage them to watch our board meetings. I have kept in fact, I've been accused of not being very vocal about this situation. And if I cross the line, I would like for you to stop me, okay?
Sure.
I have been very quiet because a lot of things that have happened have been things that were out of the board or my control. I feel like the time will come, and it's coming soon, that I'll be able to tell the whole story, and I will tell the whole story. And I think when the public hears the whole story, they're going to, the whole chapter will turn. I'm not ready to do that yet, because I think there's some pieces that we need to finish up, and I think Dr. Malay is working on some things for us. But given the information that we received as a board and as a superintendent, I think we've done a good job. And I think the public, when they see what the whole truth of the matter is, they're gonna realize what we've been going through and what we've done. And what we've done with no money, and how our students and our staff perform. So, that's all I'm gonna say. Did I do an okay job? Would you like to add anything to that? Okay. But I will tell you, every time I go to a superintendent's meeting with other superintendents, someone, this last time probably 6 or 7 people came up to me and said, we watch those meetings and we don't wanna be where Glades County is, but good night, you guys we can't believe what y'all done, like every time. I agree with you. I mean, it was a God thing that we entered that when we did, it was a God thing. Miss Murray can tell you that I reached out to her 3 years ago, begging her to come to Glades County. It wasn't right, the timing wasn't right. And you know, one day she and I will have a story that we're gonna be able to share with people, but we're gonna do it on a day that we are complete celebration, when our fund balance is double what it is now, but we are ending positive this year, and that is huge. People say, well, you've had to cut people. Well, yeah, we were way overstaffed, and that wasn't by Glades County, that was by the Department of Education, said we were overstaffed, and when you're overstaffed, you spend too much money. So, you know what? If I wanted to be, always make happy decisions and popular decisions, I'd have sold ice cream. So,
Okay, I would like to confirm, our next board meeting and workshop is July 9th. School board meeting at 9 a.m., workshop at 1 p.m. on July 9th is our next meeting. And meeting is adjourned at 11:39.
and y'all can come up and be